on business, economy, and development. With global digital reach, we connect Africa's pulse to the world stage. Welcome to SOUQ News Television, and here we'll go beyond the headlines, from breaking news, in-depth conversational programs, to market analysis and indices. From policies affecting growth to unique documentaries, from live event coverage to bespoke productions, we deliver content that connects you to the world. At SOUQ News Television, we provide news surrounding business, economy, and development, infomercials and jingles that stand out, short and long-form documentaries crafted to international standards, independent production spaces with full technical support, special coverage for individual and corporate events, a special form of documentaries through our prestige package, Immortals, where we tell your story the way you'd love it, and business support services tailored for small enterprises. SOUQ News TV, powered by FemWatch Limited, also home to the Isle 95.9 FM Lagos and Kasua 99.7 FM Kano, and Emirate News Television Abuja, together forming Africa's trusted media powerhouse. Storytelling, coverage, and connection that matters. SOUQ News TV, your home for business, economy, and development.
My name is Shino Ogbadegeshin. I'm the CEO of Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch SOUQ News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching SOUQ News, okay? Stay updated with SOUQ News.
My name is Aton Keme. I am the head of MSME Banking. Please keep watching SOUQ News and stay glued to SOUQ News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch SOUQ News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello Lagos, make we yarn. Wait, wetin really happen?
Maybe you say Kala the warriors.
Okay, so Mona listen, if you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbuefi. They don't walk that bar road where they warriors for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know why? Development wey dey work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we no dey abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Uyemike, aka Ogbuefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on top the eye 95.9 FM.
As the world navigates constant change and competing voices, the call for purposeful leadership rings louder. The Scalable Leadership Summit 2025, hosted on the Leadership Channel Consulting platform, wasn't just another conference. It was a clarion call to leaders, seasoned and emerging, to abandon short-lived titles and build the kind of leadership that endures storms, spans generations, and reshapes nations. In a compelling convergence of Africa's top-level thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and organizational trailblazers, the summit issued a bold call for enduring, values-driven leadership. Under the theme, Lead Beyond Limits, Build What Lasts, the convener, Wale Adekola, emphasized that this event is not for applause. It was engineered for lasting impact.
We're talking about leaders who are going to represent leadership, who are going to become leadership ambassadors. And that is why we are launching Scalable Niger today. So Scalable Niger for us is not just a slogan. It's something that we want to see happening in every community in Nigeria. Because today every participant is going to go home with 3 powerful frameworks. 3 powerful frameworks. And for these frameworks, we have the first one is the Scalable Leadership Framework. The second one is ADAPT. ADAPT model is a sustainable change system that it can use to transform any system within the organization, of course, and across institutions. In Nigeria, of course, and across Africa. So these are proven and tested frameworks that we have studied, we have applied, for the past 10 years. And now we want to see all these frameworks applied in Nigerian institutions and, of course, organizations.
The summit delivered a rich blend of keynote insights and fire chat dialogues, featuring voices like Adeyemi Olayiwole, Niyi Adesanya, Tara Fela Durotoye, Honorable Adewumi Adeyemi, Professor Abraham Oshinobi, and Dr. Smith Bam, among others. The experience was further deepened by stirring spoken words, performances, and inspirational music, not merely to share leadership principles, but to ignite a deeper commitment to legacy-driven leadership in a world that is constantly evolving. Kicking off the summit was leadership strategist and keynote speaker Odeyemi Olayiwole, who emphasized the power of learning from experience. His message challenged attendees to go beyond information and seek transformation through mentorship, experience sharing, and tested wisdom.
The cheapest way to succeed in anything is to learn from someone who has succeeded in that thing. Not someone that knows about the thing alone, but someone who has been able to acquire the information and translate it to application and have results to show. And so that's why many years, in 1996, when I knew that my assignment was in the leadership space, one of the first questions I asked is, who is doing what I want to do? And who is the best at what I do? Every year I pick 3 case studies: a country, a company, and a corporate leader, every single year. And I dissect them to find out what is the secret, because success leaves clues. The secret of men are in their stories. So one of the cheapest ways to succeed at anything is to find out who has succeeded at what I want to start.
Renowned beauty entrepreneur Tara Fela Durotoye, in her keynote session and during a fire chat with a convener, shared lessons from her leadership journey in building the House of Tara brand, from humble beginnings to a systemized enterprise. She spoke on navigating growth, people development, and succession planning.
What is it that I do that delivers the same outcome? What is it that makes my customers buy every time? Write it down, because you have now found a framework. Then you amplify and multiply that framework, so that every time you meet a House of Tara person, there is something about them that reminds you of the person you met in Lekki. Why? Because we have created a culture. The policies are designed to protect you, not just the company. If you don't remember everything else that I said and you are an employee here, follow the policies and embrace them in your chest. Know them by heart. If anybody says anything, you just ask, what does the policy say? And all founders, if you don't have policies, what you are basically saying is that you're allowing your people to do anything.
From academia, Professor Oshinobi of Lagos Business School brought a compelling perspective on national transformation governance, innovation, and faith-based leadership.
The Nigerian paradox: we are rich in resources, yet poor in trust. True of us, bursting with talent, yet starved of opportunity. A land of faith, yet a desert. Governance is the structural foundation that enables accountability, transparency, and the rule of law. But the crisis is this: 83% of Nigerians is strong public institution. True or true? That is the basis of our problem in this country. Trust deficits.
The summit was not all talk. It was also artfully immersive, as Esosia Wilson rendered soul-lifting inspirational songs, creating moments of reflection between sessions. In an interview with SOUQ News TV, the convener emphasized the summit's depth, that it is a leadership movement committed to shaping a new breed of leaders. Participants shared their reflections, describing the summit as a catalytic experience that confronted, challenged, and compelled.
Leadership is not just a day thing, it's a daily thing. We want them to recognize 3 types of patterns. So we have encouraged them to study pattern. Number 1, pattern recognition. Number 2, pattern usage, how they can use the pattern that they're going to learn today. And number 3 is pattern creation. How can they create new patterns that they can apply in their own organization, something that is unique for them from the patterns they've recognized that they can use and also apply in their organization through wisdom.
Some people just wish to scale, but you need to be able to have a system that enables you to scale. So that's basically what I think the frameworks will do. And then from each of the speakers, so they are all coming from different, some are from the academia, the business world, which I believe that convergence will actually help to give a better knowledge and sensitization about what true scalability in business and in leadership basically is.
The second session talked about the need for leaders to appreciate their team members, and it was quite emotional when we saw 2 or 3 people shed tears of joy when they got messages from their team leaders. So for us as team leaders, we need to be very deliberate. And even the case study we did, Deep Sea, it talks about the need for us to be very deliberate. We need to know our team members. We need to know what's happening with them, and we need to leverage their strengths.
Everything rises and falls on leadership. If the leader gets it right, it trickles down to those at the middle level, at the lower level. So it's important to get it right from the root so that the fruits are good. I do a lot of case studies. So you study what has worked, what has not worked. Through my research, preparing for this summit, I discovered that we're talking about starting, scaling, and sustaining businesses. So let's study systems that have worked for up to 1,000 years and more. And I found out that they are driven around community, which is people. Everything should be about people. Listen to them, love them, then you can lead them more effectively. And when people's hearts are touched, they work better with their hands, with their head, and with their feet.
Because I work with people, I understand how powerful people can be, and the biggest asset any organization has is not infrastructure, it's its people. And if you understand that your people are your assets, you will invest in your people. But if you don't understand it, if you don't share that philosophy, you're going to abuse your people, you're going to misuse your people. So for me, it's something I've been living for 20 years, and so it's just natural.
You need to love the people you want to lead by having what we call the emotional intelligence, social intelligence. Both go hand in hand, and you need them for leadership. And lastly, for leadership is also about listening. For you to influence one, you need to listen to your environment in order to act accordingly.
We have looked at how to scale our leadership potential, and also sustain it. It's not enough to just start, but we will start, we will scale, and then we'll sustain it. It's something that should be a legacy, something that should live beyond us. But right now, we are talking about impact, the impact that the structures and the systems that we are putting in place will have on our society, on our community. So leadership is beyond just us. It's about impact, it's about sustainability, and it's about the value that we are creating for our society.
To a large extent, I try to tell people that you can be anything you want to be, because you've been placed here to lead, you've been placed here to be at the forefront. And for you to be at the forefront, that means you need to understand what leadership means. And that's the message I pass out. I see myself being able to influence the world with my music, and also show people that they have the ability to believe they can be anything they want to be.
My workers are waiting patiently to see me coming, because I have a lot to impact on them about the personal growth, the business growth, and everything as well. Everybody needs this, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You don't need to miss out this kind of program. You need to connect. No matter the money you spend here, it's worth it.
With resounding voices across academia, enterprise, ministry, and the creative arts, the message was unified. Leadership that scales must be intentional, people-focused, and purpose-driven. Grace Komalafe, SOUQ News TV.
Welcome to the Africa Development Studies Center, ADSC.
SOUQ is an organization focused on training and research to advance sustainable development and growth in Africa. We exist to facilitate customized training, research, and study exchanges worldwide on leadership, management, and critical development issues. The center offers a platform for the exchange of ideas and best practices. Our comprehensive services encompass research, consultancy, capacity building, training, and education programs, as well as publishing and disseminating development-related knowledge. Our faculty consists of experts and researchers with extensive experience in policy formulation, implementation techniques, and monitoring and evaluation. Our methodology involves talks, individual and group exercises, games, video screenings, and discussion seminar sessions in a cozy atmosphere, making learning enjoyable for our participants. For more information, email us at info@adstudycenter.com or call +234 912 039 2362. Visit our website at www.adstudycenter.com to learn more about our programs and upcoming events. Africa Development Studies Center, rethinking development for Africa.
Hello and welcome to the maiden edition of Queen's Court, where we discuss the role of women in leadership and nation building. I'm Juliet Biniti, Reverend Juliet. In recent times, more women have stepped into leadership roles, demonstrating empowering role of education, technology, and access to information. These women leaders have not only achieved remarkable success in their fields, but also played pivotal role in promoting gender equality and education reforms. Today, we will be looking at the role of women in leadership and the unseen barriers. But before we set the ball rolling, let's go on a quick break and we'll be right back to introduce our guests. Welcome back. Women leaders already battling workplace stereotypes and seeking work-life balance found themselves shouldering more enormous responsibility in recent time. Hence, we will be looking at the role of women in leadership and the rising challenges. Joining me for this discussion is my sis, a big sis, but in this court, we will call you Lady. Lady Horochi Ogan, leadership consultant, and the CEO of O'Neill, a global management firm focused on leadership, at my immediate right. Welcome, Lady Horochi.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Lady version.
Thank you.
A pleasure having you here.
I'm glad.
And of course, another big sis of mine, a wonderful, incredible woman leader, Lady Adiola Aziz. In this court, the Queen's Court. So get ready for that. A politician and a social entrepreneur, and of course, the founder of an NGO, Community Care Foundation, focused on empowering youth and women, and especially in agriculture, solving the hunger problem. And I just want to welcome Mrs. Lady Adela. You're welcome to Queen's Court.
Thank you very much for having me.
We will be discussing these matters of women in leadership and the challenges. And today's discussion is going to be focused more on the ideological issues of these leadership issues, because women and leadership is almost as if it's not something to go together. When you say women, it doesn't count leadership. So we want to have that discussion, understanding that women have been leading in the past. We have seen great women leaders. We have seen Queen Amina of Zaria. We have seen Funmilayo Ransom Kuti in the West, and we have seen Margaret Ekpo in the East. So even in Nigeria, we have women who have led and showed tremendous leadership. But they're also very minimal leaders all over, abysmal women in leadership in different spheres of influence. The banking sector is beginning to show up with great women as CEO at the top of the echelon of the bank. But however, do we have enough women who are going to occupy that seat the moment they leave? So this discussion is very important, especially to a new generation of women rising, with the issues of women leading both at home and at the city gate. That balance of things, we need to have that discussion. That's why it's important to have the discussion. I'm coming to you, Lydia Adiola, and of course it's going to be the same, we'll dovetail to that same area of discussion on these rural women. Because of the issues of mindset, culture, educational background, and the 9 yards of the philosophy of understanding that women are also leaders, how do we navigate? Apart from education, training, let's say training, what is the intricate issues that you think is still limiting these women, even at the rural level? Let me give you an example. I was at a program where I needed to speak to some women. When they called me, I thought they were educated women, but I found out they were not, so I had to go into Pidgin English a little bit. But I realized that these women have such capacity and role to play in the society. And they were complaining at the issues of the genital mutilation, the issue of the girl-child marriage. It was within the middle belt of Nigeria. And I was telling them, but you are a leader, you are women leaders. And they were like, no, what are you talking about? That's is the chief, is the this. So how are we going to go about, especially the rural Africa, because we have over 20 million women entrepreneurs, SMEs, and it's fundamentally women, producing, adding to the GDP per capita of Nigeria. Incredible when I saw that data. And yet we say we are not leading. Can you speak to that? And Lady Horochi also will add to that comment, because it's at the center of this discourse in its ideological and philosophical level. Because before we talk about specializing in areas of leadership, do we really want the men to still tell us to lead, or can we just simply realize it?
You see, when you're talking about what you just said at the rural level, right, we need to understand that, like I said, most of them are illiterate, and most of them are controlled and led by their chiefs, the ballers, their husbands, and all of that. I'll give you an example. During the local government election, we had to have a by-election in one of my wards. And there was a particular woman who was very active, widow, 6 children, she was under 23. And I said to her that, why don't you come and represent the ward, because we needed you to be there. And somebody asked. And she said, yes. So I said, okay, we will support her, we will fund her, and all of that. Do you know that by the next day or 2 days later, when we reached her, we couldn't get her on the phone? And I actually paid somebody to go and look for her. Did something happen? What had happened was that her uncle, her late husband's brother, the ballers, and said, how dare she put herself forward? Or she said she didn't put herself forward, that it was Honorable Adiola Aziz who asked her, because she saw the potential. She mobilized a lot for us, and she went into hiding.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine that? So I now realize that what we need to do, we have to start the education from these male at that level who control these women.
Excellent.
During campaign, they're for you. They will do this, they'll support you, they say this is who we want. On the day of election, right, their husbands, the ballers, they would have given all of them all of you, this is the direction you go. So when you have that kind of, I don't know what to call it, whether it's a directive, I don't want to use the word bullying or whatever, a directive from their husband,
that's what it is.
Whatever, to do this. So tell me, how do those women want to express themselves? By voting or deciding or taking choices or making decisions that they feel is right for them. It's not inclusive.
So we need strong advocacy.
We need strong advocacy, and we need to try and see how we can get the buy-in of these men who have a strong hold on their wives, their sisters, on these women, to say, look, this is your daughter. This is what will happen. And a woman at that level only cares for food on the table for the children and how the children will go to school. Once you can satisfy those two needs, right, a woman she'll thrive on her own. But when she doesn't have that independence of mind to make a decision by herself, hey, she's in bondage.
Wow.
She's in bondage, and that is at that local level. I saw it live and direct. So they do not have the capacity. They've got the competency. They do not have that capacity to take those decisions by themselves. You know, so it's limiting and it's patriarchy, it's stereotyping, and hey, why should you raise your head up to say you want to lead? Who's giving you permission?
Excellent. But in comparatively to that, let me even draw it back to even at the international level, we only have about 23% to 25% of women at the global level. So if the rural woman, the issue of that control, is it the same as the woman at the elite level who has gone to school, at least did her high school, or suddenly she disappeared? I have had friends who were probably acting before, they get married and they just disappear off the screen. What is it? Is it just the limiting factor from the men, or the psychology of the women themselves, knowing that now that I'm married, maybe I'm not called to lead?
Very interesting question. Very interesting question, because even before you asked it, I wanted to use a corporate example equivalent to the rural one that she
Excellent.
I attended an HR meet and greet meeting. It was a people-centered thing, and the head of HR of a multinational bank came to talk to us about barriers and women in the corporate world. She gave a practical example. She said, if there's a general management or CEO opportunity in Côte d'Ivoire, and you call a man and said, go and prepare, we're getting you ready, you're going to be the CEO in Côte d'Ivoire, the man will jump, thank, and if you call a woman, the woman will tell you, this is an exciting opportunity, let me go home and discuss it with my husband. This is what is going on in the corporate world. I'm not talking about rural environment. So these barriers are real.
Yeah.
But in the same circumstances, we now had another CEO from a bank that told us about intentionality and planning. She said she went into banking career and she was intentional from word go that she was going to be at the top and nobody was going to limit her. It's not about feminism or women, whatever. She just had a relationship with her husband that helped her husband understand her and help her husband push her career. So she had a baby. At the point they made her a chief executive officer for a bank in Ivory Coast or somewhere. She just, then there was not even GSM. She just planned, had 2 stable nannies, had a way of reaching out to them, you know, on a mini basis when she's doing her work. And she was able to do the assignment. She was able to take the position and enhance her career in the bank. At the point she was talking now, she was now CEO in Nigeria. So these barriers are real. And because I'm an SME person, when you mentioned SME, my body was shaking.
I can imagine, yes.
You see, so it's not an easy assignment, but if we're intentional, you need to reach out to them. It's a two-pronged approach.
The first thing is that you need to sensitize the women. You need to get their buy-in. You know, you need to let them understand the benefits for them. It's not for me. You know, but you need to speak to them at their level. Speak vernacular. If you can't speak that vernacular, get somebody to interpret. Some of them do not. If they understand pidgin English, I'm very good at that. When I get to my village, I start racking in Igbo language. What is important to me is communication. So you reach out to them at their level and try and sensitize them, create awareness. Let them. There's a paradigm shift that needs to happen. Let them begin. You break down the growth mindset in a simple way that will help them understand. That's the first step. Second step is to work with this huge, I don't know what to call them, husbands, chiefs, cousins, uncles, the male factor, you know, that is sitting over the female folk patriarchally, is to get them to understand. It's also a buy-in process, you know, have conversations with them, help them to understand. When you get into a rural environment, you get to the valley. The valleys, I've seen people that were able to work and change an environment with the Oba. The Obas, recently, they're very literate. The valleys, even if they're not, they have understanding. If you get their buy-in, you just go out of your way, try and get their buy-in. Once you get their buy-in, it's easier to get the buy-in of all the other male figures in that environment. It is possible. I had listened to a senator that wanted to change something fundamentally from a history of influence, and it was genital mutilation. And she started, it was a Herculean task, but she was deliberate, she was planned. She started with the Oba of her village. Yes. She started with the Oba, continued having meetings until the Oba got the buy-in.
Excellent.
So when the Oba got the buy-in, she went to the youth. The youth got the buy-in and said any woman that is mutilated will not marry. Do you understand? So I'm giving this practical example to say that it's possible.
Societies have changed.
Yes, it's possible. If you go systematically, you will have a buy-in, and there'll be a mindset change. There'll be a paradigm shift, and then you begin to make progress. By the time you're handling simultaneously the women, you know, and the male figures that are barriers, the barriers are real. No, that's why we need to.
They're real.
Be very deliberate about it.
I want to add to that contribution, especially for the current generation of women that we have. One of the things that I've also found out is that if you know you have the desire to lead, for goodness sake, when you are dating your spouse or your husband to be, please discuss it. Because some men will not entertain it. So you will not get in and say, when I marry, I will change his mind.
No, it's too
because if it doesn't happen at that stage, you don't express your desire to him, and it doesn't support it at the beginning, it's not going to work.
That's the story. I can fine.
Yes.
I can get up today, I'm going tomorrow.
Right. So getting the buy-in at an early stage, once you know leadership is in your mind, is extremely important. So that you know where you're going to. Because if it don't support you,
no, it's a problem. It's a challenge.
At the same time,
married.
Yes. At the same time, as a
single
politician again, if you go out there and you don't see your husband beside you once or twice, it's like, where is she? Is she here? You know the negativity that goes with it. I remember when I was contesting, I had to tell my husband at the early stages of my campaign, please be beside me. And they all definitely they enjoyed it.
Excellent.
You know, so it's important that they get the buy-in of your husband before the violence and the obas and all of that.
Can I add something? Before you add, just for us to begin to conclude something, because this is a proof of what you have said. Because the data shows that there was a organization that financially outperformed industry competitors have more women in leadership. That the more women are in leadership, the organization's competitiveness increases and improves. And I always tell men also, if your wife is a leader, is an improvement to your social capital, is an improvement to your financial capital. As we wind down this discussion that is a continuum, it continues because it's a very broad discussion. And we now see the reason why the discussion should happen, because the women quotient in the leadership role, beside whether it's the husband or other men, is quite low. We still have them in all spheres of influence. We're having that challenge. So you can make your conclusive point of what will it take for us to increase the quotient as we wrap this up. Starting from her as she concludes her points, then also dovetail to that question.
My last words as we conclude.
Yes.
I was going to say that when it comes to marriage, I'm not deviating. I think that conversation should happen whether you want to be a leader or not.
Yes.
You need to let, as a human, because you need to let your husband, get your husband consent from the beginning to support you to be the best versions of your life.
That's it.
You need to.
That's your HR speaking.
Yes. You need to get your husband to support you to be, you are his helpmeet. You are there to help him to be the best versions of his life, but it's a partnership. He should also make a commitment to help you to be the best versions of your life.
Precisely.
And so if you have that balance at the beginning, it's easier to manage things. It's easier to manage things, you know, when you're in the marriage. And these are my last words. I keep coming back to, you know, move further and organize. You know, we need to be very strategic.
Yes.
We need to deal with the critical mass.
We need to intelligence. We need to have a dialogue conversation. This not just your output. Excellent. Science and development. We don't together as a team.
That's what we're doing. This is not a talk show.
Definitely.
I'm a solution bearer. Here to solve problems. That's why I came on the program.
Yes.
So outside this program, as we progress, can we come together and put up a strategic plan on what we can execute? And I'm not talking about high level.
Yes.
Let's go back, because my family has a foundation. I understand how to run grassroots issues. Let's go back to the grassroots. Let's start doing something.
Okay, thank you very much. Lady Adeolaman, as we conclude.
Yes. There's been a lot of talk about the value.
Yes.
About the value that women bring to the table.
Yes.
If they are there.
Okay.
If they show up, if they're there. Promoting women leadership is simply social justice.
Excellent.
It is inclusivity.
Excellent.
It is diverse critical thinking. It brings prosperity to the table.
Yes.
To the nation, to the community, to the society. So why do you want to leave 50% of the gender that makes up the workforce, that makes up the SMEs, that makes up who we are in Nigeria? Why do you want to cut them out of the equation?
Excellent.
It's like having an aeroplane flying with one wing.
It will never fly.
So it will never fly. So the earlier we start to realize that women leadership is a must, it's a task that we must face, embrace, be intentional, and ensure that anything that comes in our way, for those of us who are there, we advocate, lead. And what's the other word again? When you lobby, the men, that please, this is for your wives, your daughters, your sisters. Social justice is key.
Thank you very much.
Equity and equality is paramount.
Thank you very much. We must all remember that leadership is not masculine, it's human. And women's rights are indeed human rights. And every woman is called to lead. right from the home gate to the city gate. And once again, I want to appreciate Lady Horochi Ogan and Lady Adiola Aziz to Queen's Court, the maiden version.
Thank you.
2024. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for listening. God bless you, and bye for now.
The Trump administration has once again thrust U.S. immigration policy into the global spotlight with the recent announcement of a new voluntary self-deportation program that offers a $1,000 stipend to undocumented immigrants who agree to leave the country on their own. This incentive-based strategy is a calculated shift from the traditional, more aggressive deportation measures and is already stirring debate among policymakers, immigration advocates, and the public alike. The program, introduced in early May 2025, is being implemented by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. It allows undocumented migrants to register for voluntary departure using the CBP-1 app, after which they will receive a government-funded flight and a $1,000 stipend upon confirmation of their exit. Homeland Security officials argue that this move is designed to save taxpayers significant amounts of money. According to data provided by the DHS, a forced deportation process costs the government an average of $17,121 per individual. In contrast, the stipend program is seen as a cost-effective alternative that also reduces the strain on overcrowded detention centers and court dockets. This new measure is a part of a broader, intensified effort by the Trump administration to curb illegal immigration and tighten control over the U.S. southern border. Since returning to power, President Trump has reinstated several policies from his first term, while introducing new ones aimed at deterring undocumented migrants. Deportation numbers have surged, with nearly 66,000 individuals removed from the U.S. within the first 100 days of his new term. Family detention centers, once heavily criticized for their impact on children, have been brought back into operation, while legal aid for unaccompanied minors have seen severe cuts. These developments come at a time when the United States is experiencing a historic high in its foreign-born population. As of 2023, nearly 47.8 million immigrants were residing in the U.S., with an estimated 11 million of them undocumented. Many of these individuals have lived in the country for over a decade, raising families and contributing to the economy. Immigrants, regardless of status, are a vital part of the U.S. labor force, contributing billions in taxes and significantly shaping industries such as agriculture, construction, and caregiving. Critics of the $1,000 self-deportation offer argue that the program may oversimplify the complex reasons behind undocumented migration. Many of those targeted by the program have deep roots in the U.S., including U.S.-born children, community ties, and long-term employment. Human rights organizations warn that such policies, while less aggressive on the surface, may pressure vulnerable individuals into making life-altering decisions without legal representation or full knowledge of their rights. There are also concerns about the ethical implications of offering monetary incentives for departure, particularly in cases involving asylum seekers or those fleeing violence. From a strategic standpoint, the administration insists that this approach is a practical way to reduce the migrant population without resorting to mass raids or extended detentions. Supporters say it offers dignity and a choice to undocumented migrants while protecting national interests. However, immigration experts question the actual effectiveness of the program, noting that similar efforts in the past have yielded limited results. The offer of $1,000 may not be enough to motivate individuals who have risked everything to seek better lives in the United States. The debate around this policy underscores the broader tensions within American immigration discourse, balancing border control and national sovereignty among humanitarian obligations and economic realities. With the 2026 midterm elections approaching, immigration remains one of the most polarizing and politically charged issues on the national agenda. In the wider global context, policies like this could set a precedent as other countries monitor the U.S. approach, especially those in Europe and parts of Africa facing rising migration numbers. Questions around voluntary migration, incentives, and state-led deportation policies are likely to spark wider international debates. What remains clear is that the Trump administration's latest move is not just a domestic policy. It is a bold, controversial experiment in reshaping the global migration conversation. I am Moyosore Adibi for SOUQ News TV.
We're going to have increase in the number of facilities that we will visit in the year 2025 by 30%. That would have improved compliance and enhancement of data-driven decision making using data analytics. That we're going to strengthen collaboration between our partners, and we're going to have 25% increase in our compliance rates by carrying out the key strategies. We want to expand our monitoring coverage. We want to enhance our digital infrastructure by integrating a secure online pathway. We also want to include the e-learning platform and our mobile platforms on the digital infrastructure. We want to strengthen our community engagement and build capacity of both the farmer staff and our partners. We want to drive innovation and research. This year, we want to carry out research on quality of care. In doing all of this, we want to make the health facilities in Lagos safer by leveraging on technology and ensuring that all our processes are data-driven. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Onawilede, Dr. Nibo Shinowo, Dr. Veronica Iwaimi, and Dr. Abiola Ijogo. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, the Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isiaq Salako. Taking us further in a comparative study, I want to especially welcome a professor and consultant medical parasitologist at the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. He coordinates the International Malaria Microscopy RDT Quality Assurance Center, as well as the country's World Health Organization malaria specimen collection sites in the College of Medicine, University of Lagos. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for Professor Wellington Oyibo for a very short comprehensive study. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, Executive Governor of Lagos State, the Honorable Minister of Health, here represented here by the Minister of State for Health. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, this is historic for us. This is a path we have planned, prayed for, and we are happy that this is happening. Mr. Governor, thank you for all and for making this happen myself. I'm so happy and grateful to the Honorable Commissioner of Health. He has told the story. So I'm going to build on those stories as I make this presentation. We don't have much time. And part of the whole thing is the advances that Lagos State has made for over 2 decades. The world is hearing it, and the signature of this project through the impact project itself. which is calibrated around the impacts that this project will make again for Lagos States. My slide, please. So what we know about malaria, in the 15th century, why was it called malaria? It was called malaria because the cause of that fever illness was not known. And it was connected to marshy waters. So malaria in Greek is foul. And that was called the cause too. And it took some another 100 years before it was connected to mosquito bites. And today we are talking about fever and say all fevers are malaria. So are we going to the 15th century? And this is what we're trying to really unbundle in Lagos. It's still over 50 million people. My slides. So if fever is still malaria, we go back to the 15th century. And then, of course, for evidence base, meant that we will have to quickly provide the evidence. Yes. So the horrible complaint of food is out from here. So I've given this background. Most health workers will not accept the test results when it's negative. And that's the challenge. Next slide, please. Okay, and if you don't have data, which we are talking about digitization, you cannot calibrate where you are. And so if we look at the entire program and the plan of the projects, is to see that real-time data is available and that tests are done. And when the test is done, we can say quickly, cost-effectively, this is where we are. Because you can get the rely on routine data. The country do not have quality data, and that's the challenge. Next slide. So low confidence in the test. Basic things are being used. Lagos is making progress. How do we handle it? 94 to 96% of the reporting for malaria in the DHIS that categorizes states and Nigeria comes from the primary healthcare center and is from the public sector. It's important to recognize this. Next slide. And we're bringing this on board because we provide the quality platform for quality diagnosis at the College of Medicine. Next slide. And we do all of this carefully to ensure that these tests are good to be used for humans. Next slide. And what is known? Please just keep on going on the slide because I'll just look through them. There are changes in Nigeria in terms of malaria epidemiology. Next slide. And then we see from the 2021 malaria indicator survey where Lagos is. Next slide. And you can see where we are here at 2.6%. Postponed. And next slide. Good progress. And we're talking about the path for pre-elimination. We are on that path. And we are happy that this is being mentioned here today. And like I said, this signature. And in line with the stratification strategy and subnational tailoring by WHO. So we are quite on course on this. Next slide. And then you can see the different tests available. You can keep on hitting enter. You have microscopy that is powered by a human being. And then you have this rapid diagnostic test that is technology. But somehow we refuse to accept technology and we stay with humans with all the challenges. So that's what you see with microscopy. Just keep on pressing enter and all of this. And this is the test 15 minutes. The result is out. The other one will take any time. It will be one day. And then based on that, we have done the scoping assessment of facility in Lagos.
Recent times, cosmetic clinics. So we're finding it difficult. We have limited capacity to ensure monitoring of these facilities. We also have inefficient manual processes because our digital platform is unable to carry out some of the processes in the agency. We're sitting on a lot of data in the agency.
With AI to make sure that the test is actually having the results that the pharmacy or PPMB says it does. We then verify that the treatment, the appropriate treatment. And then in the impact program, we to the public health system for malaria-negative patients to ensure that they're getting the proper diagnosis that they need and have a better understanding of what other febrile illnesses patients might have. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so I'll just talk briefly about all of the other partners that are working on this as well. So we are working closely, of course, with the Lagos State Ministry of Health, which envisioned this work and brought us in to support on this, with NMEP, which is overseeing the work and providing technical oversight, with WHO, which is providing, again, technical support and facilitation, and then importantly with our private sector partners as well, so PCN, which is doing quite a bit of the regulatory oversight and ensuring the quality of care in a pharmacy setting, with SFH, which is enabling the supply chain, and then of course with LASHMA, which is to go quickly into the final results on why this is improved quality of care. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So the work is providing network expansion, innovative financing, integrated health systems, supply chain resilience, comparative research, and regulatory reform, leveraging all of these different partners that we've mentioned to ensure that patients are able to access quality care and that the data is being provided back to Lagos State to help improve regulatory support, policy, and other things. I mentioned the partners that we have here already, but we're very grateful for all of the work that they are providing to ensure that there's quality of care in the private sector. And then finally, one final slide. To reinforce what Dr. Wellington said earlier, the work that is being done is also to be supporting with testing, understanding the difference between rapid tests and microscopy, to support on policy reform to ensure that rapid tests are always done before treatment for malaria in Lagos State. Thank you all so much, and we're very excited to be a part of this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jessica Vernon, the CEO, by Shemets. Ladies and gentlemen, taking us further, Tagmina Ogunafo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, sir. We're very happy that this is happening today. So just believe me to do something unique in terms of our focus for malaria control in Nigeria. To do this, I will call on Dr. Dao, Country Director for SOUQ. We're going to have the Honorable Minister interested for malaria control. Thank you so much. This is the main focus for malaria control in Nigeria, which we refer to as the 3 T's. Your Excellency, the first T stands for tests. We cannot overemphasize or we cannot underscore the importance of that. The second T, sir, is for treatment. not have His Excellency and the Minister of Health standing for long, so once we take their samples, we're going to have them seated again. Come and quality check what is happening, sir, please. Thank you very much.
We are witnessing leadership by example. Leadership by example by Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, as well as the Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Salako. Please, let's appreciate them. That is the way to go for every one of us all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. So again, this is the way to go for malaria control program in Nigeria. The pre-elimination in Nigeria could commence in phases. We could commence pre-elimination in Nigeria in phases. Thank you, Your Excellencies. Thank you. So back to the fourth bullet on my slide. Your Excellencies, pre-elimination in Nigeria could be commenced in phases. It could start with the states, Lagos State, for example, and we could go geopolitical zones. So I was sitting with my sister, the Commissioner of Health from Ogun State. So the fever for pre-elimination have started. So I also want to say that it stands on Lagos State to make sure that this pathway for pre-elimination is properly done. The National Malaria Elimination Program is waiting to take the experiences and the processes that Lagos will use to achieve elimination to be replicated in other states. Your Excellencies, it's important to note that right now we have a couple of states under 10% prevalence in the country, and those states are Anambra, Kwara, and Rivers State. So what is happening in Lagos that has been flagged off today, it's like NMEP, it's poised to take what these processes and experiences are to states like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. Let's appreciate her. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Governor, sir, Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, who has been ably represented here today by the Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isiaq Adekunle Salako. A round of applause for him, please.
Your Excellency, the excellent Governor of the Center of Excellence, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. I must recognize my brother, who is the one who has summoned all of us here today, the Honorable Commissioner for Health for Lagos State. And all members of the Lagos State Cabinet here present, our partners, WHO, World Bank, distinguished stakeholders in the health sector, gentlemen of the press. Because of time, let me say all protocols to be extended. We cannot give the governor for malaria alone. He has to attend to water, to road, to several other things. So I will shorten my speech but I must say that today I'm wearing two caps. You may not see it physically. I'm standing in for myself and also standing in for my brother, the coordinating minister for health and social welfare, Professor Party, who is unable to attend because of other assignments. I am most delighted to be at this auspicious occasion for the launch of the Pathway to Malaria Pre-Elimination and Digitization Program in the Center of Excellence, Lagos State, led by His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I recall that Lagos State pioneered intensive malaria case management in the early 2000s through the Eco-Free Malaria Initiative under the leadership of now our President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the then Governor. I am most delighted to be here today to be part of another pioneering initiative now under Governor Babatunde Sanwo-Olu as Lagos State takes the lead in the agenda to end malaria by 2030. Your Excellency, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is elated with this giant stride, which aims to improve malaria diagnosis, case management, and accurate tracking of cases through the integration of digital health solutions in the form of real-time electronic reporting systems, all targeted at further reduction in the burden of malaria and its eventual elimination from our land. This momentous project will not only set the track for malaria pre-elimination in Lagos State, but in Nigeria at large, thereby once again making Lagos State a trailblazer. I want to emphasize that this project is in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the renewed vigor for the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare on the rethinking malaria concept that was launched in April 2024 and is aimed at fast-tracking the malaria elimination goal through strategic shifts. We have continued to make progress in this regard, and the inauguration of the advisory on malaria elimination in Nigeria, Amen, the development of pragmatic costed plan of action, the expansion of permanent care facilities, training of frontline health workers, and the initiation of domestication of affordable medicine facilities for malaria to make malaria treatment more affordable are all testament to the progress we are making. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry is taking these steps in order to reverse the undesirable trend of being the highest burden malaria endemic country globally, accounting for 37% and 31% of cases and deaths respectively. I am confident that Lagos State possesses the needed attributes that can help drive Nigeria to malaria elimination through such case-setting initiatives like this program. Furthermore, Lagos has been consistently the lowest malaria prevalence state in Nigeria, as evidenced from all the malaria indicator survey conducted in the country, with the most recent result in 2021 showing 2% prevalence, hence indicating a tendency of attaining pre-elimination when concerted and consolidated efforts are put in place. I wish to report that the challenge of let me use this opportunity to call on all stakeholders not to relent on their support towards this impactful intervention, which will contribute significantly to the drive at eliminating malaria from the world. Nigeria is ever committed to this drive and we will continue to tow the path of global best practices. I wish to assure all Nigerians and our partners that the change in the policy of the United States government with respect to global health funding will not adversely affect our malaria elimination programs and other public health initiatives, as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR has approved a robust mechanism to ensure adequate and cost-effective funding for public health programs. I call on all state governments to join hands with the federal government to ensure that our country becomes self-sustaining in the funding of our public health programs. Before I end this address, let me commend once again and appreciate His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and his health team, led by Professor Akin Abayomi, for initiating and executing this laudable innovative project. I wish to also sincerely appreciate all the partners, World Bank, WHO, all the implementers, especially for providing the needed human resources, technical support, and the funding for the implementation of this initiative. I wish all of us a successful launch of this impactful project as a springboard for the elimination of malaria from our country. Thank you, and God bless the federal government.
Distinguished invited guests, Your Excellencies, Honorable Minister of State, have your results. To say that Honorable Minister of State, we will not be confining you in a bed in Lagos. Your result is negative. When patients go to clinics and the doctors tell you that they've performed the test, it is your responsibility as a patient to see the test. Please ask for the test and take a picture of it and have a record on your phone. My governor, the Excellency of Lagos State, I'm pleased to tell you that you may continue with your duties. Congratulations, sir. Negative, and the low prevalence of malaria in Lagos has been charted course. Thank you very much for your support, both the Honorable Minister and our Governor and members of the Lagos State Executive Council. Mr. Governor, if you would like to approach the podium to give your keynote and to launch a pathway to malaria elimination in Lagos.
Practitioner himself and a strong politician, Dr. Thank you very much for finding out. Members of the State Executive Council, especially Professor Akin Abayomi, and Special Advisor on Health. Thank you very much for that cabinet members, all the permanent secretaries in the Health Ministry, and several of you that are here. Thank you very much for taking our time. The country director for the World Bank, Dr. Diop, the country representative for the WHO, Dr. Walter, all of our partners that are here, MyShamed, Impact, SFH, the National Malaria Organization, our friends from our neighboring state, the Honorable Commissioner for Health in Ogun State, thank you. All of our health practitioners, stakeholders that are here, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. When you are asked to come forward and conduct a test that you did not psych yourself for, what will happen is you quickly raise, your brain will raise back and say, have I been feeling unwell? What is going to happen? It just brought us back 5 years during COVID, and they said that they're going to do a COVID test. It was like, the heart was going to open and you don't know what will be the outcome. But you see, it's an important activity that we need to continue to subject ourselves to. You might think it's a simple thing, but it's so important. And that ability for you to come forward, if it has turned positive, what it will have just meant is that we need to make a treatment. It's not a death penalty, but it's really just for all of us to know that we need to do this thing and we need to be able to come forward transparently at all times and let us end all of these things that we don't want again in our sight. Thank you very much. And so it's an honor before all of you in this room are very strategic to launch the first in the country, another Lagos first, the pathway to malaria pre-elimination and digitalization program. We're here to affirm our commitment to safeguarding lives and the livelihood of every Lagosian. Malaria is more than a disease. It's a social-economic burden that has held back individuals, it has held back families and communities for such a long time. It robs us of our productivity, it drains us of our household incomes. And for many households in Lagos, especially those modest earners, malaria, the name it alone brings shivers. It reduces their earning and reduces their ability to continue to earn more for their family. And so this financial strain often affects families and a lot of times causes heartbreaks and the rest of it. But we're here to put a stop or to even lend a voice to the step at which we want to eliminate that completely. It has affected school children from going to school, it has affected businesses, it has seen a whole lot of absenteeism and a lot of challenges in our society for several decades. But today, we have to change all of that narrative. The eradication of malaria is not just a good health news, it is indeed an economic imperative. It's a good news that all of us must beat our chest and be able to carry, if there's a P, that we need to have a pre-elimination, the campaign for it, we need to have it and we need to be able to dot it everywhere. We know from statistics how much malaria has cost our GDP, billions and billions of dollars. Imagine what Lagos could achieve with a lot of resources if we're able to eliminate all of this. We no longer have to choose between survival and opportunity. Imagine a Lagos where every child can attend school uninterrupted because of ill health, or an adult can contribute fully to the economy. And one thing that is instructive was the demonstration of the slide by Professor Akiambam, and I saw others as well. I can see that Prof already has a side job in animation and cartooning. It's a job that he can conveniently retire into. And the narratives were very clear. But the message was very, very transparently done. And all of us, in one form or the other, are guilty of this. You feel unwell, you think you have a fever, the next thing is you are diagnosing yourself with malaria. Very easy. Just give me injection. Just give me this tablet. I know what it is. We are all, self-diagnosing ourselves and self-telling ourselves that that is what it can only be and that is what it is. So just give us. But we can see that with knowledge and with communication, a lot of all of those negative things we can rewrite them. And so this program represents a hope rooted on innovation, collaboration, and determination by leveraging digital tools that will ensure that every malaria case is tracked in real time. It's digital. Long are those days when you need to take a whole full blood from your body to just do a simple malaria test. I was asking for my bottle of Martina because those days when they take your blood test, it was replenished into the bottle of Martina. But you can see that with just a small prick, and in no time you can actually. That's what digital life, has done. And so it has helped us by strengthening partnership with the private sector. We will expand access for quality care. It will help communities to have the knowledge and resources. It will build a culture of preventing that leaves no one behind. And that's a message we need to come out of from here. All of us sitting in this room must immediately turn ourselves into an advocate, into a cheerleader to be able to carry this message forward, to be able to tell everybody that needs to know. Go into our communities, pass on this message that this pre-elimination launch program has started, and it's for all of us to see it, to buy into it, and to work with it. The benefit of eradicating malaria goes beyond just health. In malaria-free Lagos, and indeed in future, in malaria-free Nigeria, it's achievable in our time, and we've all put our minds to it, something that could be done. We believe that if we can eliminate it, it will increase productivity, it will improve educational outcomes from our children, it will reduce considerably our health costs. It would also enhance quality of life. I mean, all of these points speaks to a better livability standards, in all indices. And so this vision, though ambitious, I believe is achievable. It's because, therefore, all of us, government agencies, healthcare practitioners, healthcare providers, community leaders, development partners, and indeed all citizens, to work together with an unwavering resolve. Success will not come overnight, but will be sustained effort and collaborative action. We will prevail. You saw the slides that a farmer and the lady on malaria and the lady on immunization.
Take Nigeria, because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ business landscape. Hello, good morning and welcome to your Monday Staples. This is SBL SOUQ Business Landscape and we're reaching you live from SOUQ News Television. We are your business, economy and development station. There is no other partner when it comes to business but us. So hey, stay here. I want to say thank you very much for all those that have been with us from Monday till this beautiful, beautiful Thursday. Now let's do this. Now on SBL today, we'll be looking at stories that had started sometime last week and had to do with metering. We'll also go to Anambra State and ask Soludo some particular questions. Marketers, why can we resolve the issues there? Then hey, Nigeria is trying to get satellites up there to communicate and improve businesses, all looking forward to that $1 trillion economy of this administration. Are we going to achieve it? What will be the drivers and who are we training for it? A whole lot is happening on the table today, so you can't afford to miss it. But remember this, it's SOUQ News Television. So go on all social media platforms, and follow us, like, communicate us, comment, but most importantly, share. Let your neighbors, friends, and co-workers know. My name is John Rogers Chooks, and I'm pleased to tell you that I have the Oracle here and I have the legal one here too. So, Toby, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chooks. Good morning, Dr. Idausa. Good morning, Nigeria, Lagos, and the world. Welcome to SBL.
You're welcome. Good morning, sir.
Good Nigeria, Chooks.
Mm-hmm.
Good Nigeria, Toby. Viewers out there, good Nigeria.
Can only get better. Yes, now let's get to this particular story. We've had it several times on this table, but it's taking another dimension. And hey, let's just give it a few minutes. Now, these schools are clashing with BPE over funding nationwide meter rollout. Now, Nigerian electricity distribution companies have locked in a dispute with the Bureau of Public Enterprises over funding for national meter rollout program, raising concerns about who will ultimately bear the cost of closing the metering gap. The disagreement highlights lingering structural tensions in the power sector's reform framework. Now, BPE Director General Ayodele Gbeleyi has reiterated that electricity consumers should not be required to pay for meters. He said the policy position is clear and consistent with government commitment to end estimated billing and protect customers from additional financial burdens. However, distribution companies argue they are already financing meters through extended payment arrangement with suppliers. The discos maintain that the costs are being recovered gradually through approved tariffs, insisting the model is necessary to scale deployment amid limited public funding. Now, analysts are also warning that the standoff could delay installation, prolong estimated billing, and deepen mistrust between operators, the regulators, and customers unless a transparent and sustainable funding structure is agreed. Now, this is directly coming from BPE, and that is why we are taking this particular angle of the story. We want to hear from you.
from the onset, we have been of the opinion, okay, we on this side have been of the opinion that property that doesn't belong to you shouldn't pay for it. It came to them for free. But now let's also get to see. Sir, let's say you own or you're a major shareholder on of these discos. We are not too sure. Will you go ahead and say, let's look for how to resolve? If we've put money down for procurement, let government pay us because government is already acquiring the meters.
Well, I think the problem in the Nigerian electricity sector, I cannot agree less with Professor Oke, Senior Advocates of Nigeria, listening to him yesterday on the sister station. There's actually man-made problem. And this is all tied around human beings who deliberately politicize a system for their benefits. What we are dealing with today in Nigeria is that system of patronage where individuals feel entitled to state resource. That's the problem we are dealing with. So it's not really an energy crisis. The problem is the fact that there are some people who feel that they must continue to take free money from the system. Some 2 or 3 years ago, we had a training program from some government parastatals, especially from NERC, which were regulators. And I remember in that meeting, the committee chairman on electricity was there. Somebody from TCN was there. Somebody from NRC was there. And we're asking. We sold DISCO, PACN, to DISCO because we feel that if the private people come in, they're going to invest in that sector and things will get better. 5 years down the line, nothing is getting better. And that is even when the then Minister of Power, Fashola, gave an order, an executive order that no meter, no bill. DISCO violated that provisions. That even when government is saying that if you cannot meter your customer, don't collect bills from them. Now, it's over 5 years that Fashola left that ministry. And we are still around this issue of metering. And the only reason why this is so is because those people who feel that they are the inheritor of our collective patrimony were the people that these distribution companies have been handed over to. Otherwise, I don't see any reason why the government of Nigeria will continue to tolerate these people. Because when you sign an agreement with somebody to do something, and the person is breaking every day the term of that agreement, by law, that agreement ceases to exist. So there's no contract between the Nigerian government and DISCO, in my own opinion, in the face of the law, because the standard level agreement that was entered into by the government, BPE and DISCO, they have violated it. They've not brought new money into that sector. They have not invested anything in that sector. Government is spending more money today than when it was in the hands of PACN, and this money is entering into their hand, and they feel so entitled. If it is other clients where things work, we cancel DISCO, either return back to PACN, or give it to people who has fund that can run this thing. Because at the end of the day, the meters are DISCO's property, not the property of the government.
Or the customer.
Or the consumer. It is DISCO's property. So why do you want somebody is even helping you to give this thing out freely? Consumers are paying for it. And they have paid and they are not supplying. Because you continue to benefit from estimated reading. And I think the National Assembly should set in here and make a law deregistering discourse so that we can face head-on our energy problem. And I don't think one man can be bigger than Nigeria, whoever the owner of those discos are. So I think this is a problem. We are dealing with human issues and makes it look like this problem are intractable or unsolvable. So it is unfortunate that we have to be going around this circle. And I'm shocked that DISCO will have the nerve to go to BPE after failing their obligations of giving Nigeria electricity, that they cannot even take what is generated to supply to the people. And they are choosing whose customer to serve at the expense of the common good.
Okay. Why do you said you are surprised that they have the nerve to go to BPE? Remember, when your early submission, you talked about the entitlement mentality and the individualistic mentality in this whole issue. And that is exactly what we are seeing right now. People are not being held accountable for the contracts they went into, especially when it has to do with government. And coming from where the doctor is right now, we can see that a lot of the discos were given out on political patronage, which means at the time at which it went out, there were people within and around the corridors of power. With states coming in and having their electricity boards, we've asked that question here, and this issue is cropping up. Do you see us being able to break that hold of the discos?
It's just like Doctor mentioned. It's not really about what the government has done or what they're trying to put in place. It's about the structure, really. It's about the enforcement. Doctor mentioned certain laws, or they should create certain laws, to guide the affairs of the discos with regards to the distribution of meters and the rest. I personally feel like one of the problems we have in Nigeria is enforcement of laws. On this table, every now and then I always talk about enforcement. It's a problem. We have the laws. I never for once would underestimate the capacity of the legal system. It's just that we have an enforcement issue. The discos, the Electricity Act is actually not ambiguous. If you look at it, it's as simple and explanatory as it should. What the discos are really doing here is that they're actually putting a threat to the consumer protection, safeguarding or consumer protection safety net, really. Because at the end of the day, if you are saying that the structure or the payment structure of metering should rely back on the consumer, then you should be ready to go through transparency tests. Because at the end of the day, you just hear people say, it costs me this amount of money to get my meter. And that same amount of money that costs A is not the same with B. That means it's more like you're bidding for it. You hear today that the window has closed, the window is opened. Come on. At the end of the day, it's not really about if the state takes ownership of it. It's about what structure will be put in place to ensure that consumers are not exposed to illegal practices that actually looks like what it is right now from discos.
Okay. Everyone is looking at discos and trying to see things work. We already have a power issue. We have a distribution issue. We have an issue where we are not even generating enough. And the one that is generating, we can't even transmit enough. We don't want to see this $1 trillion economy being crippled because power will not reach the industries. That is a no-go area. And the government is doing their bit. So we have no excuse. Now, still talking about monies changing hands and people standing up to say, no, let's talk about fuel distribution. 2 days ago, the Dangote refinery came up and said, hey, gantry price has gone up from $699 to $799. Marketers are coming to ask questions. Now, the marketers face extra 100 naira charge after Dangote price hike. That is something we didn't want to see. Petroleum marketers lifting premium motor spreaders, PMS from Dangote Petroleum Refinery are now required to pay an additional 100 naira per litre for volumes already paid for. Now, this followed sudden upward review of the refinery's ex-depot price. Findings show marketers who completed payment and processed final slips for 699 naira per litre are being asked to top up to 799 naira per litre before loading. after the refinery withdrew a temporary festive period support and invalidated previously issued loading authorizations. Okay. Are we looking at it like that particular price was just for the festive period? Or that particular price stemmed from the fact that crude oil fell during that period?
Well, I think I mentioned this yesterday on the same set. We must understand that what we are dealing with right now is market-driven economy. Petroleum will have to respond to the forces of demand and supply, whether it's of the inputs that come into the making of the PMS, maybe in the form of crude and other associated costs that come with its production. So what we have seen here is the fact that Dangote says they are not meeting up the costs. And I remember that toward the end of last year, he actually had argued that they were running at a loss.
Yeah.
They were running at a loss. How long, of course, Dangote is able to carry that loss was only a question of time. So if they are reducing the losses, as it were, by adding to it, I don't think anything has significantly changed for the marketers. Because coming to work yesterday, everybody has already adjusted their meter. So whether those products are loaded at the initially agreed price or the new price, the pump is already reflecting the new cost.
They don't waste time on that side.
Yeah, so it's already reflecting the new cost. So there's not so much thing that has changed here, except the fact that we need to really get to that point where we are not competing on price, but we are competing based on value. Because I see what was happening at that point was the fact that those who were importing wanted to justify that there was a need to import, because at a certain point they said, oh, they were importing lesser than what Dangote was going to give to them. And Dangote decided to prove that, look, it's not true, so his price was selling. Now, I think the chicks have come to roost right now. So what we have now is almost everybody selling at the same point. So if you go to the outlet where the Dangote products are sold, it's around 830, 840 today. Now, if you go to where other marketers like NNPC, franchise stations are selling, they are selling at 835, 845. So we are the same place. That's within the Lagos marketing region. So for me, what is important and critical is the fact that people have put money into investment.
Yes.
And they must have return on those investments. And I don't think that a 20 billion project should run on a loss. He needs to also prove that this is profitable. Because when Nigerians are now getting dividends out of this investment, other people will be willing to put money into it. Don't forget, he said he wanted to say to us, and now I'm still waiting for this thing to be floated at NGS, so that some of us can also be beneficiary of what is happening, because that's the only way the economy moves around.
We really understand the NG experts. We know you are seriously waiting. But for we really want to see the price go low. But now, let's go from the legal side of it. Now, marketers said they have paid 666 for product they were supposed to load before these prices came up. Now, after the prices came up, is the Dangote refinery not supposed to have given them what they paid for before these prices came up? Because if they loaded when they had the opportunity, they would have loaded the particular product at the price they paid for it. So that 100 naira differential that we are talking about right now, legally, is it right for Dangote to say, no, you must give us extra 100 naira?
Well, it all depends on, you see, the PMS market is a very vulnerable one, knowing fully what's happening in the market. The government has actually, what the government has done so far is to, again, open the market. Everyone come and play. and let's see what happens. So if there's actually a legal issue with regards to Dangote demanding more, then of course, trust me, to make the headlines, they know their onions. They know before these things are done, certain notices will be put in place. Okay. They will not come out and tell you because they understand that at the end of the day, they have a market to sell.
Yeah, so but they are quietly voicing it right now.
They would only, yeah, it's a reaction.
Okay.
Right, and yeah, this reaction put a strain actually on the, should I say, on the retail on the retail marketers. Affects their liquidity. Yes, I understand. But if there's a legal issue to this fact, to these changes, trust me, to make the headlines. And I think it's tight and it's an open market, so anyone can demand the 100 naira, 200 naira, and all of that.
They will sort themselves out.
They'll sort themselves out. I mean, like Doctor mentioned, earlier, I think last year we were talking about, we saw Dangote coming even as far as trying to show us the quality of his own production. Mixing and all of that. This is the market. That's what the market actually demands. So if your pricing goes up within 24 hours, within 15 hours, within 2 hours, you have, of course, checked in your profit, your loss, and all of that. It's business at the end of the day. So it's just what it is.
Okay, Doc, coming to you now. You are a lover of open markets. Bring up your waste, bring up your goods, and sell. But now we've seen importers come and tell us that this same week, they told us that they are getting this particular product cheaper than what Dangote is offering. But we are not seeing that reflect at the pumps. That is one. Secondly, we get to see, outside this claim, there are different grades of PMS. And you buy depending on how much you can afford. But we don't see that here. So how do we get our minds to know that whatever is coming from outside of Dangote is either the premium or the sub-premium or just the cheap one?
Well, I think the challenge we'll have as a people are more ethical than technical.
Okay.
So we have a little bit of ethical problem where you have a lot of people who cannot simply differentiate between right or wrong, or people whose conscience really do not really stick with the things that are ethical or moral. You see, on the one hand, from the story, the marketers say, oh, we already paid. Give us the products. But then we also have said, this is, if you take from the country at this price, this is what you should sell. On Monday, they have changed their prices. They have not even lifted the product. They have already changed the prices. And now they are insisting that they want to buy at the original price.
At the lower price.
At which they have paid. That's the contract. But it failed, on the other hand, that just the way they have the contract with the Dangote, they also have the contract with the Nigerian people. That if this PMS is coming at this price from the country, then this is what the Nigerian people are entitled to buy. So that window of pricing is given. Now, you already have marked up with 100 naira. So you want to earn 100 naira more. That's what it is. So, which is actually wealth without conscience. That is the way I see it. And it's not just around the petroleum marketer, and this happened almost in every sector. That is why we're talking about the things we're talking about disco earlier on. When you have business people who put money down, and all they think is making more money at the expense of the people. So when you see that people discriminate and said, okay, this is what I'm selling, and this is how much I'm selling it, it's because those people have conscience. I remember some years ago, I went to UAE and I was going to buy a flash drive. I went into a shop and I said, please, can you sell a flash drive for me? Oh, he said, no. How many pieces? I said, I just needed one. He said, no, you have to go to the next shop to buy. This is wholesale shop. So he pointed to me, and that's a retailer there that is selling. And I was looking at myself and I said, even here, when you don't have it, you will tell you, say, wait, I want to go and bring it from packing shop.
Yes. There's always a packing shop. Or we have. Let me go.
So I want to go and get it from a packing shop or a warehouse. These are value systems. So our values have completely failed us as a people. And I think that's why we are where we are. So that's why I said I cannot agree less with Professor Oke that the problem we have in Nigeria, they are human problems. And if we have to solve it, then collectively we have to agree on a value system that we transition. Because the issues that are here, there are issues that have to do with value, conscience. Conscience. That we have men who have no conscience, and they just feel that, look, everything must be about them. And they must make profit at all costs. And therefore, every window that is available, people are protesting, people are doing all manners of things, just to be sure that they take advantage. But humanity first. And this seems to be missing in our climb.
Humanity first, you say. Okay, we will find it. Let's keep going. From Dangote and petroleum importers, now let's talk about some other thing that really, really intrigues us a lot. Now we are looking at our ability to get to 1.8 million barrels per day, and if possible, surpass that as refineries are coming up. We need to supply them also and not just let them import crude from outside. And now we have regulatory framework from NUPRC. Now they are opening up 50 oil blocks, set strict criteria to get them. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has opened 50 oil and gas blocks across 5 sedimentary basins for bidding in 2026 licensing round. Now, that was from 2025 to 2026. Now, the commission warned that only, take note, only technically competent and financially strong companies will be allowed to progress through the exercise. NUPRC said the licensing round is structured to eliminate speculative participation that has weakened past bid processes. It added that applicants will undergo rigorous technical, financial, and commercial assessment to ensure only credible investors secure what these oil blocks, exploration and development. According to Commission, the initiative is part of efforts to reposition Nigeria's upstream petroleum sector as a transparent, rule-based, and investment-friendly destination. Now, regulations are saying that the process will prioritize long-term value creation, efficient resource development, and compliance with environmental and governance standards. Also, the analysts are also noting that the stricter screening could improve project execution. It will also boost reserve replacement and restore investor confidence in Nigerian upstream and gas industry. We are not just looking for 1.8, apart from the products that will be drilled, apart from the oil. We're also looking forward to seeing more of Nigerian companies get involved. Local, I don't like using the word local, but Nigerian origin companies get involved. So big partnership with any other company outside Nigeria, but let's be in the forefront. We've seen what is happening with Seplat. We've seen what is happening with the Folawuyos. We've seen what is happening with even the Dangotes. We want to see more of Nigerian companies get involved. But now, with all this regulation, how do we eliminate people that get these licenses and use them, as you always say, bargaining chip for some other contracts?
Well, I think the regulators have done what the law expects them to do.
According to the PIA.
And they're playing within that law. It's now left for all of us.
When you say all of us, I know I can't bid right now.
No. We all have a part to play in this. They have said, look, we have licenses to give. Nigerians are qualified to apply, and whoever has resources to apply. You may not have the money to buy, but you can monitor the process.
Definitely.
To ensure that it's transparent enough and that it's only the people who are qualified that actually get these licenses. And that we're giving license to people who have both the technical and the financial capacity to actually explore this crude that we're talking about. I said it on this table. We have the reserve. Nigeria can actually be doing up to 3 million barrels daily, so that we can meet up with the emerging demand of crude. Look at Dangote 650 train refinery. We're looking at Boa coming with about 250. We have some pockets of modular refineries here and there that will be needing this crude. If NNPC eventually gets their ash right, of course, we'll also be needing crude in that environment. Then we must be able to produce the crude that we are using, that we don't need to import. And that, of course, will help the stability in our macroeconomic environment. So here is government saying we have published. The fourth estate of the realm, which is the media, where you play, must put eye on the ground to ensure that, yes, we started right. I'm sharing just now, the end of 18 is better than the beginning. So we have done what is legal. The law says go and put this thing out for everybody who can. So we ensure that the process of selection is transparent enough, and that we are not again giving these licenses to people who are not able to actually use it, or they are just prospecting just to sell to a potential. So these are the things that the media will also have to put eye on. Civil society organizations must put eye on the ground to ensure that the process of getting people who get this license, that the people who have what it takes in terms of skills, in terms of technical competence, in terms of financial muscle to drill, are the one who gets this license. And that's the only way to benefit the rest of us. So the law says we can monitor. And so we must take the bull by the horn. As members of the fourth estate of the realm, the civil society groups, and then, of course, all the watchdogs around must look and say, let these parents be transparent, and for once, let's get this thing done right. You see, because where we get into trouble is the fact that people put in advertisements on newspaper for procurement, and some of those jobs had already been awarded. We should ensure that this process is not like that. That as they have said, the windows are open, we must see that it is done transparently and the law is followed to the letter. And that is the only way society can make progress.
Okay. Let me come to you, Toby. Is it possible, let's also see government come out to tell us directly, come, if after this bidding, whoever wins, or whichever companies, or whichever conglomerate wins, you have so and so time, after which if we don't see this amount of progress, this percentage of progress, we withdraw it. Late part of last year, we saw some of the licenses that were called for. They were put out there and said, we are going to withdraw this. Some were withdrawn based on some investigation. But should we start seeing that particular government policy with this particular administration when it comes to bidding? At point of bidding, this is your time frame. This is progress report you want to see.
Subjectively, I want to believe that in the MOU and the agreement, this would be implemented or taken into consideration, because I identified 3 challenges that they could have that drops from the challenge of execution, which is fairness, transparency, and timeline. So, like Dr. mentioned earlier, if the government, if the PIA, of course, has said, okay, no more auditing, we're giving out licensing, we're doing a licensing round. If you are able and you have the capacity to deliver, come get the license, then there should be a timeline. And I believe in the MOUs, the contracts, the agreements, there will be timelines, because it is not just about it's not a licensing volume situation. It's a result-driven situation whereby if you're getting these licenses, then you should of course spring into actions, employ who you need to employ, start the job, and start affecting positively the reserves that we have, because we are trying to see how we can boost investors' confidence with regards to our upstream credibility. So it's very important the timelines are put there. There's no project management structure or project that you do that should not have timelines. So it can be, it of course, can be a challenge because of how the nature of this business is very sensitive and all of that, but there must be a timeline.
Implementation of that timeline. That's what we're having in
So the implementation of timelines also embodies, this is of course going to be more of the duty of the people as well to follow up, because again, if there's a timeline for let's say, for example, 3 months or 7 months to produce or to do this and to do that, the government is not. We should not leave the job alone to the government. Okay. The media also, for example, has the obligation to capture these activities, and once they know that there's a media, there's a camera on their necks, they will deliver. That's also a form of enforcement in a way. So,
okay, still talking about the oil blocks, let's get you another developing story. For those that are wondering, for the first time we are having Nigeria offer oil blocks in the Lake Chad region. Yes, you heard us right. Now, Nigeria has offered investors oil blocks in the Lake Chad basin as part of its latest licensing round. Now, despite the region's long-running insurgency, the move signals the government's determination to unlock hydrocarbon potentials in frontier basins to boost reserve and revenue. The Lake Chad basin, spanning part of the northeastern Nigeria, has been heavily affected by years of insecurity linked to insurgent activity. Now, analysts say the security situation may or has historically discouraged exploration, raised operating costs, and delayed development of prospective assets in the area. Regulators said the blocks are being offered under stricter licensing conditions aimed at attracting technically capable and financially strong investors. Okay, dear Doc, the Niger Delta used to be relatively very, very quiet and calm. Then the oil blocks came. A lot of development came within the oil sector, not within the communities. We also saw a lot of security movement into that particular region, be it security formation, barracks, that of military, police, and other security agents. If these blocks happen to be taken in that particular area, talking about the Lake Chad Basin, do you see security improving in that place? Or do you see people shying away or leaving or not participating because of the insurgency there?
Well, I don't think people will shy away. If reports that we hear, even from credible individuals, anything to go by. I remember listening to Adams Oshomole, for example. I'm trying to remember his name now. This Abacha man who wanted to become president the other day.
Ahmed Mustafa.
Mustafa, yes. Argues that what is fueling the insecurity in the Northeast and Northwest, actually, the presence of rare earth minerals. That people are using the insecurity as a front to exploit those mineral resources almost at no cost to the disadvantage of the Nigerian state. So we already have people who are investors who are doing mining in those areas.
Legally or illegally?
So they're already there doing business, and they are protected
by
the insurgents.
Okay.
They are protected by the insurgents, and they gave them the room to do whatever thing they are doing, and they are collecting the royalties from these operators.
Non-state actors.
Non-state actors. Don't forget, there was a report that made the round last year that in 2025, these people receive taxes worth over $150 million from both farmers and people who are operating in that region. That's some money that's getting into the hands of criminals. So I think that we, as a country, must have to double up and not allow people to take undue advantage of the resources that God had given to us collectively. Nigeria must face head-on the challenge of insecurity in the Northeast so that we can use the place for advantage. A lot of analysts has talked about it. I was listening to Falola yesterday in one of the podcasts, a very renowned professor of politics and talking about ethnicity, democracy, and how the trilogy of our politics of the pre-independence era had led us to where we are, and the expansionist ambition of some people to take over certain parts of the country, which is the struggle of our resource. So Nigeria, as a state, must wake up to its responsibility, ensuring that that place is free. And if there's value in that place, I know states actually go in there. We see that, of course, even in the heart of the Congo area, and America has moved in right now to do business. We saw how they have moved into Venezuela now to stabilize whatever thing that's happening in there and make the oil to work for the people. So if there is value seen, if there are value seen in the Sahel environment, I think, of course, the government or those who are interested can actually move in and stop the crime happening right there, and then we can do business lawfully.
Okay, the oracle is saying if there is value, I know he's speaking rhetorics because we know that there is value. If there are no value, we won't have a lot of gunmen protecting a few. Now, let's look at it from this other side. The Niger Delta has always seen it as, over the years, we've been the region providing this particular resource to the country. Now, for the first time, we are seeing oil blocks from the Chad Basin going up for bidding. Do you see a shift in that thought pattern? Do you see a shift in the economic pattern also? And do you see a shift in development?
If I'm going to give a very direct answer, I would say no, because nothing really that is happening right now is different from what has been happening. I did my law school over there in Bayelsa, in that environment. So when I was going down there, I was hoping to see skyscrapers, see cars fly, based on the resource that they have there. So it just tells you that resources alone don't attract investment. Clarity, safety does. Frontier basin licensing is lawful. However, we should start expecting a robust demand from the investors when it comes to force majeure and safety guarantees. Because at the end of the day, it's not just to have this resource there; it's to be able to do these things in a safe environment. Because the amount of produce that they lose every day because of the insecurity over there also is something that should be looked into, and it affects the economy one way or the other. The Venezuelan government, or should I say the communication team, did mention that they made about $500,000 or $500 million from the produce of their oil and all of that, and 300 goes to them and 200 goes to the US. Well, that shows one way or the other that something is working. Because
working for who? The government or the US?
The government of, the Venezuelan government. Okay. Because at the end of the day, the scope is that this resource was not properly managed. So, and when we talk about proper management, we're talking about security, we're talking about waste, and we see a lot of waste in this side of Nigeria. So, if we're talking about economic strategy, then this waste must be blocked, generally.
Yeah, but I am actually an advocate of sometimes conspiracy theory. The fact that you go to Bayelsa, you didn't see those structures does not mean that they are not in Abuja, that they are not in Lagos, and they are not in London.
Of course.
You see, but we have to deliberately keep that place underdeveloped.
Okay. Are you telling us that the products, the earnings, the revenue that came from the Bayelsa now build the skyscrapers in these other places?
And you should not take care of the people of that environment.
Yeah, don't put words into my
I like the fact that Doctor mentioned that, because he has a fact. Yeah, this resource, of course, can be used to take care of other states, but it's a benefit. When we talk about Nigeria,
I'm not even talking about. What I'm saying is that the fact that when you get to Bayelsa, you don't see skyscraper, does not mean that Bayelsans don't have skyscrapers in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, or in Lagos.
But Doc,
or in Dubai.
It should be there. It should not be in Dubai. It should be in Bayelsa.
Yeah, but you see,
you should start from there.
You have to understand the psychology, how these things work.
You are taking us to terrains we don't know.
Toby, this is what it is.
All right, sir.
A friend of mine gave me an analysis of something that happened some years ago, and he was telling me that a certain man was appointed as UBEC chairman. And he went to a media house and they asked him, what are you going to do in this state to change everything? And he said, if I don't achieve anything in my tenure, I should be able to delist my state from educationally disadvantaged states.
Okay.
I don't want that name, a tag on our state that we are educationally disadvantaged. So if that is all I achieve, I've done well. And he told me, as soon as his father left the TV station where he made this statement, some people were waiting for him at home. And when he came in, they asked him, I said, we saw you on the television, what you said. Do you really mean that thing? I said, yeah, that is what I want to achieve. And he said, well, this status, this is what he gives to us. How are you now going to be giving us that resource? And the man was dumbfounded. And he said a few months later, they sent a note to him that he needed to send some money somewhere. And he was not willing to comply. And 2 days later, his resignation letter came out in the public. Now, why am I telling these stories? Is the fact that we need to keep that place
underdeveloped,
so that we can continue to use it as a legitimate excuse to take resource from people. This is the challenge that we are dealing with. And this is why I said that the problem we face as a nation is more of a moral crisis.
Okay. Dear Doc, I know you're going to continue this. You're going to continue this submission. But
yes,
can we ask on behalf of this table, who are those keeping the place
underdeveloped?
You see, they are the same indigene of the place. That's why I'm saying that the fact that you didn't see those skyscrapers in Bayelsa does not mean that the Bayelsans
are not doing it outside.
Are not building skyscrapers elsewhere.
So the underdevelopment is a tool.
It's a tool
to attract. Okay.
My friend works with Setraco, and some years ago he told me and he said, "Look, this East-West road will not be finished in our lifetime." And I asked him why, and he told me that, look, if government give you mobilization today, the entire community come to the street to come and collect their own share of the mobilization. So this is what is happening.
Okay.
So when people blame government over everything that we are not seeing, sometimes you also see that the hands of the government are tied. No matter how autocratic that government will be. We remember Ibrahim Babangida, who says his hands were tied, that some certain decisions he could not make because some powers that be would not allow those decisions to be made. Even as a military leader, let alone talking about democratic leader who wants to win elections tomorrow. So you find that there are realities around us that may not actually define the circumstances or the situations where we find ourselves. So whether we like it or not, the same method that works for those in the Niger Delta, which is the point I'm trying to make, is the same thing that's going to work in the Northeast when this exploration starts. They are going to have their own militant, which is going to be different from the current insurgency that we are dealing with. And these militants would need to build university, either in Niger or Mali or Burkina Faso, like we have seen in the Niger Delta. So these are the things that we are dealing with. You see, righteousness is what exalts a nation. Sin becomes a reproach to any people. And until the moral rectitude of our nation is set in order, a lot of things may not necessarily go right.
Okay.
That's a good angle, actually.
To those that have ears, I hope you're hearing. Because right now, everything is not being said in white and black, but we need to make our corrections. Our morals needs a lot of detonating and rearrangement, and that will have to do. We've got a very short break, and when we return, SBL will be right back. Remember, call up your neighbors and tell them it's happening on SBL. Don't go anywhere.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy, see something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
My name is Shino Ogbadegeshin. I'm the CEO Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch SOUQ News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching SOUQ News, okay? Stay updated with SOUQ News.
My name is Harton Kene. I am the head of MSME Banking. Please keep watching SOUQ News and stay glued to SOUQ News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch SOUQ News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Muhammad Yunus was born on the 28th of June 1940 in the village of Batwa, Chittagong, a British Indian colony which is currently known as Bangladesh. He attended Lama Bazar Primary and Secondary School in his village and passed the matriculation examination into Chittagong Collegiate School, where he ranked 16th out of 39,000 students. After his graduation in 1961, Yunus joined the Bureau of Economics as a research assistant and was later appointed lecturer of economics at the Chittagong College. During that time, he also set up a profitable packaging factory on the side. In 1965, he received a Fulbright scholarship to study in the United States, where he obtained his PhD in economics from the Vanderbilt University Graduate Program in Economic Development. Between 1969 and 1972, after his keen education excellence of apex heights and proportions in the United States, he returned home and was appointed professor of economics at the University of Chittagong. He was eventually appointed onto the board of directors to the United Nations Foundation, where he served for 33 years. When Bangladesh suffered a famine in 1974, Yunus felt he had to do something for the very poor. In his country, he founded the Grameen Bank. His motivation was to create economic and social development for the very poor, giving long-term loans to those who wanted to start small enterprises to pay back when they can. The aim to help was to get many of them out of poverty. For this, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. Muhammad Yunus is a recipient of numerous international awards for his ideas and endeavors, including the Humanitarian Award in 1993, World Food Prize in 1994, Independence Day Award in 1987, Bangladesh's highest award, the King Hussein Humanitarian Leadership Award in 2000. He was also awarded the Volvo Environment Prize in 2003, Nikkei Asia Prize for Regional Growth in 2004, Franklin D. Roosevelt Freedom Award in 2006, as well as the SOUQ Peace Prize in the same year. All humans are born entrepreneurs, he would always fondly say. His heart showed through his everyday life.
To first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizens. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape. Welcome back. This is SBL SOUQ Business Landscape. Remember, if you had a hashtag in front of it, and we are here live in the studio, SOUQ News Television. This is where you are meant to be. Now, let's talk revenue generation as it concerns Anambra State. Soludo has called Monday closure economic sabotage at Onitsha Market. Yes, for those that have not seen that video, you need to go look it up. Watch it. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo, who happens to be a renowned economist, a your former central bank governor, has described the failure of traders at the Onitsha main market to open their shops on Monday as an act of economic sabotage. He insisted that the sit-at-home order ended in the state in 2023. That is 2 years and counting to 3, and should no longer affect commercial activities. Soludo made the remarks during a press briefing in Awka on Wednesday, that is after shutting the market, on Monday, 28 January 2026, while explaining his decision to shut down the Onitsha main market. He said the continued closure of shops on Mondays undermines economic growth, threatens livelihood, and damages the state's commercial reputation. The governor dismissed claims by some traders that insecurity prevents them from opening their shops, describing the explanation as delusional. He maintained that security agencies have restored normalcy and that markets must operate fully. Now, Soludo also warned that the government will enforce compliance to protect jobs, revenue, and investor confidence across Anambra State and the trading center. Protect investor confidence by shutting down the market for 7 days and threatening to shut it down for 1 month and threatening to bring in bulldozers to bulldoze the market.
I mean, you're fighting a sit-at-home policy, yet you're shutting.
Giving them opportunity to sit at home. Okay, now, dear Doc, let's come to you from a businessman point of view. We just talked about insecurity in the Northeast, and we've seen a culture that insecurity has bettered. How do we go about to resolve this issue? Is this 1 week closure of the market or the threat of 1 month and bulldozers are going to solve this issue?
Well, what comes to my mind immediately is a statement made by one of late head of state, Sani Abacha, that if a riot is sustained for over 48 hours, then you know that
the state is involved.
The state is involved.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's what comes immediately to my mind. And I think genuinely the governor had tried since 2023 to appeal to the people to ignore the instruction from faceless individuals that people in the Southeast must not go out every Monday, which is almost being idolized as we speak right now in the Southeast. And I think this should actually have been worrisome to the entire Ndigbo community, wherever they found themselves. Because this is self-inflicted economic sabotage. And I think the governor used the appropriate word. I don't see how sitting at home on Monday or not doing business on Monday leads to the freedom of the IPOB leader. I don't see it. Because when you don't do business yourself, who is losing? You are the one losing. And what the state has been doing is say, look, open this market. But to be very candid, you see, they said things that a child may climb a palm tree and will not be able to see. An elderly man may just sit down on his chair and he will see them very clearly. Don't forget that Soludo's get security briefings and understand that there are some people within those market sector who are sympathetic to this cause, who directly or indirectly are enforcing that sit-at-home order for a cause that may not be just. And I think those are the issues that he is trying to deal with, in my view. So he even said that if you don't want to trade, you can move to other states. So that people who are willing to do business and trade in Anambra can come into Onitsha and do business. Because I don't think the cause itself is just enough. You know, there's what they call the concept of just war. I don't think the war that they're fighting is just. And if it's not a just war, and I don't see why people in their common sense should submit to this kind of an instruction where the man who is giving you instruction is living elsewhere and living his life freely on Mondays, and then asking you who is at home, who is poor, and need to eat daily, that he must stay out of the street. Why he's free on Monday? So I think people must see beyond the fact that government is saying, oh, we are closing the market. It's not, because there are some certain things that the government has seen, which we on this table may not be able to actually point hand to. And that's the fact that there are some people, because I even know some set of people in Lagos here who pride themselves. They say, oh, we are IPOB members, and they are doing meetings every week.
In a safe.
So they are doing meetings every week to ensure that these protestations remain stayed, and they are contributing money to ensure that these things are enforced. And I think those things have to be cracked. The Indian will deserve better. And if there's a need for a conversation to happen, and I think we can do it without necessarily injuring ourselves economically, which is, of course, what happened right now. So you can put value to the sit at home every Monday. If you convert that to economic terms, you will see how much the Indians had lost in the last 4 years trying to obey instruction from people that are faceless.
Were they obeying instructions?
Yes, they are.
Or were they
No,
they
were not forced. You see,
coerced.
You see, no one man has monopoly of violence.
Under duress.
If the society today say it doesn't matter what weapon you carry, this thing will not stand, it will not stand. The reason why they are sitting at home is because a number of them believe that it's a just cause. So it's not because that somebody is putting them under duress that you have or no government come into the city. See, take for example, look at where Onitsha main market is. It's not in the hinterland. So let's assume people from the hinterland cannot come to the market. What happened to the people who live in the city? And there are no government inside the city. So the truth of the matter is that people believe in that cause genuinely, and they are supporting it genuinely. At a certain point in our history here, I know people who paid for Biafran passports in Lagos here. They were paying for passports that they have never seen. It's to tell you how they take some of these instructions. So that's why I said they are only obeying instructions, not because the fact that they don't have the capacity to stop what you may call those criminal activities. It's beyond stopping it. Because the day you find that the Indians will wake up and say, we don't want this nonsense around us, it will stop.
Okay. Let's look at insecurity without looking at the people. Is it government's work? Is it government's work?
Security is not government work, it's everybody's work.
Okay, hold on. The governor was elected, and his first job is to protect lives and property.
Yeah. With the support of the people.
I agree with you. Now, let's go back to when the sit at home started. It did not start with the pronouncement from the people. It started with the pronouncement from a group and a very few people, if not even one person. Now, when this issue started, people did not obey it. Let's go back to history. More than 100 people, more than 100 lives were lost on this. More than 100 lives. What did the government do? These are questions we need to ask. Government did not do anything. Government did not go after the person that said this particular issue. They know who the person. The videos are there of who said it.
You see,
now the people. No,
I appreciate your background. I appreciate your background. You see, I saw a video recently of a lady who lamented when Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced.
Okay.
I said people are talking about this is not a criminal offense, it's a political issue. Let's settle it politically. I said, but some of us lost our parents to his conversations,
okay,
to his incitement.
Okay.
Now, has the entire Igbo community actually agreed that the activities of Nnamdi Kanu was actually inciting people to crime, and therefore you should pay for it? People have not accepted that. So that's what I'm saying to you, that if the society...
We cannot bring an entire Igbo community to this conversation.
No, we have to.
We can't, because the entire Igbo community did not commit a crime or back somebody to do something.
No. What I'm saying is that... What I'm saying is that, you see, if we say to Anini, you know, in that Benin,
yes, Anini, yeah,
the man was disappearing.
Yes.
He was disappearing.
They said he was disappearing in Benin. That's the story we all heard. That when Anini just see police, he disappeared.
Okay.
But the day Anini was caught, was the day the people said, look, the end must come to this.
Okay.
And all the people who were helping him to disappear, in quotes, because he was not actually disappearing.
Okay.
He gave money to some people and they leave the road, and then they allow him to go and do something. So this is what I'm talking about. So we must understand the kind of society where we live. Because if we don't tacitly support things that are not right, people don't have energy to do it. But because you have a large following, which is of course has made Nigeria to become like a fragile state, where the instruments of power are no longer able to enforce some certain law.
Why are the instruments
that most state actors are becoming much more powerful than the state actor themselves. And it is not just only in the southeast. It's happening in the south-south. It's happening in the northeast. It's happening everywhere. How on earth will you see in Zamfara that local governments are paying money to bandits so that they can have peace?
Because they grew those bandits.
So this is where we have found ourselves. Nigeria has become fragile. And it is not an accident that we are being #1 on the fragility index for some time now. Because government has lost its ability
capacity and credibility
to be able to maintain order. And that is because the entire society is not supporting the government cause for peace. So when we are going to deal with the issue of peace, we can't be pointing to government. I remember I think it was sometime last year or the year before.
Okay.
The entire business community in Lagos here were meeting and they were having this conversation. And in that meeting, the deputy governor was representing the governor in that city. One man said and raised a question, and he asked the governor, and he said, the bigger problem of disorder in this society, what's government doing about it? That you see on a red light, all these yellow buses, they pass and they don't stop. Why can't the state stop it? And the man says, it's not as if we are not doing anything. And he gave an example the deputy governor, that in somewhere in Amuwo, that some policemen tried to maintain that order. That those people descended on them and they killed them. That those are people's father and mother that were eliminated by the society. So you see, government cannot be saying, okay, we want to protect society, and then the society themselves are protecting the hoodlums. Because that's why you find it is difficult for us to fight insurgency. Because when you go to the north, the people who are the ones terrorizing the people live amongst the people, and the people knows it. Now, when you go to other clans where you have sanity, you find that if people suspect movement that are not right, they call government to it. So if people see that things are not doing well, and they don't call government actions to it, and they are psychologically supporting that kind of a move, you can find peace. And I think these are the situations where we find ourselves, and we must tell ourselves honest truths.
Okay, are we trying to give an excuse for the government?
Not at all giving excuse to the government at all, because what we're saying is that government now, as we speak, is bereft of power.
And they are still the government?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And sharing the collective weight of the people on behalf of the people?
Yeah. So that's why they say the state is fragile.
Okay. Why?
Because it cannot take, you see, people say, oh, you can't fight government. But today people are fighting government.
Because government is allowing it.
I even told you that even in the days of the military, when June 12th election was annulled, Babangida told all of us that it was beyond his power.
That was an excuse that he was...
It was not an excuse. And if you read his book,
that is his book. He decides to write, so he can write whatever he wants to write in his book.
No. What he was actually inferring was the fact that there was somebody today now who is trying to rescue Nigeria, who actually mentioned that if that election was announced, that he will go personally to go and kill the winner of that election.
Okay, let's come to you, Mr. Toby. The Oracle has taken us to places.
Amazing reorientation of some certain things.
Now let's look at it. The market people that their market has been shut. Now this happens to be the biggest market in West Africa, to be precise. Yes. Now you're shutting down the market for 7 days. Are they perpetrators or are they victims in this whole chain?
At the end of the day, you would always have penalties for not, adhering to government policies or instructions or regulations and thereabouts. So if the governor comes up in his capacity as the #1 citizen of that state and saying that, okay, your seat at home actually affects the GDP, affects that we've had losses in the state and you're protesting against it, there has to be certain penalties. And if you look at situations like this, the only penalty that, of course, that will come to mind, you can't start, of course, you can't begin to jail or lock them up. Is to, of course, that one day that you say you don't want to come to work, right, to make progress to the state as I would have more days. So maybe by the time you don't sell for the next 2 weeks and you don't have anything to eat at home, then you come to the realization that the government is not, trying to sabotage your safety. Yes, there's a need to balance it.
I say the government does not sabotage our safety. Those that were killed in that same
That's why I said there's a need for a balance. But we cannot throw away we cannot see there's certain facts and issues. And you raised a background fact which is very, very relevant as to the coercion and people are fearful for certain things, for certain reasons. And
there's a reason why
exactly was in play, and you'd see that whether or not we want to agree with doctor or doctor doesn't want to agree with us, duress actually played a part in this situation. Definitely. Yes, I understand that there's a goal, there's a mission as well too, because if you look at certain influences from outside the country with regards to this particular geopolitical zone, you would understand that they have one. I would say a vast number of them have a common goal. That is what they actually, fighting for. They want their person out of where he's been locked up and all of those things. At the end of the day, it is very difficult to single out your own assertion. We also saw it, the killings and all of that, to single them out of what doctor has mentioned. Because when the governor has come into your midst to say, come back to work, start working, open your shops. Let's get this environment back to working. See, if people come out en masse, if people come out, in numbers to say we don't want this thing, that's been our problem in Nigeria generally. We always complain about the government not doing this, government not doing that, but we fail to actually come out with one voice
But they have come out severally to say we want to come back to shops on Mondays. It has happened. We've seen that happen. And we've seen people die out of it. So whose child is going to die next? That is the question we should ask on this table. Let's forget about
I'm not you see,
whose child will die next? What is the government doing
it's
to
not
the people?
about whose child will die next.
Okay.
You see, the bigger problem, because I'm talking about national issues, I don't want even to limit it to sectorial part or study sector. Because the same playbook, that's why I said to you just now, that what we see in the Niger Delta, if oil eventually is exploited in the Northeast, the same playbook will be used. It's not going to be different. Because we are going to see environment polluted. We are going to see
by who exactly?
Yeah, but by the people. See, the society itself is what is guilty. And that's the point that I want all of us to, first and foremost, agree with. These people who are doing the killing.
Why is the government not going after them?
Wait. A government should go after them. What I'm saying is that these people who are doing this killing, they are people's children. And these parents know that these children are doing things. Let me give you one instance. Recently, I think it was last year, a certain preacher was killed in the US. And the guy escaped. The parent brought the boy to justice. Not government looking for him. The parent brought the boy to justice. And that's a society where people are cooperating with government to deal with crime.
We see several parents bringing their errant children to police station in this country too.
We have not seen.
No.
We have not seen.
Several.
No, Chooks, don't say this.
My friend's father took him to police station.
Yeah, because he was not a criminal. He was just stubborn. He was not a criminal. See, there are differences between people who commit crime and people who are just stubborn. Parents see they can't deal with you, they can take you to police. But for training, I'm talking about criminals.
Okay.
People who are carrying guns to deal with it, to kill other people. And we know what they are doing. See, in Nigeria today, we are having a Yahoo Mongers Association.
Doc, where exactly are you?
Ethical issues.
See, these are ethical issues. So that's why I'm saying that our problem is more moral than technical as people are looking at it. So if I have a situation where, for example, we are dealing with bandits, and important people in society come out to tell you that bandits are our people and they are not necessarily bad people, and that government does not need to go and kill them. That if government is killing bandits, the government is trying to weaken our votes. So, you see, the government is blackmailed. And this is what we are seeing across the space. Whether it's in the South-South, whether it's in the Southeast, whether it's in the North-Central, whether it's in the Northeast or Northwest, it is the same playbook. The society is the one that is encouraging some of these things, and that is why it is festering. Government does not drop from the sky. If the people themselves agree, like in the social contract, as written by Thomas Hobbes, in a state of nature, where life was short and brutish, and then the people come together and hand over their power to a Leviathan, who will enforce it on their behalf to bring order to society, then you will see order. But if it is on the other way around, like John Locke argued that society was not necessarily bad, and therefore government is limited, and if government misbehave, we can decide to withdraw power from them, then government will lack the capacity to deal with social issues. Now, this is the theoretical underpinning to the problem we are facing. Now, if we take the state from the perspective of Thomas Hobbes that the state was naturally bad, and therefore we need a strong government to bring order to society, which means the society itself will surrender its power to the Leviathan, which is the government. But if we are using the John Locke model, then the state was not necessarily bad. We just needed somebody who will not be too harsh on us, that if he tries to take the laws into his hand, then we can take the power from him, then the state become unnecessarily weak. So the reason of the fragility of the state is because the model of state understanding among us is actually John Locke. And we need a Hobbesian analysis where the state become really powerful arbiter to be able to set things straight and things will work very well. That's the point I'm making. Because once society compromises, there is nothing any government institution can do.
Just to add a bit to what Dr. said, I'm a big fan of John Locke.
Can we leave school and now?
No, because relating it so the idea on this table today is that relating it to the constitution. The constitution says we the people. It's very, very important that you understand that if the government is coming to say the government is just a fraction of the environment, and the government is saying get back to work, and the people are saying that they would not because of these certain reasons. At what point have we seen a oneness in the voice to tackle certain issues? On this table, rightly said that the UGM, I'll use that quote, the unknown gunmen are actually people's children as well too. The people perpetrating this, doing the perpetrators of this madness, to use the word, in this environment are people's children. They come from within the society. They live within us. They live amongst us. Why can't we fish them out? Of course, there's a place of fear. Fear of what? But there's also a place of people benefiting from these activities. So if the government is actually saying, let's get back to work, then I think that's the first step. There's an order, and the order is something that we should believe in. There's a trust.
Order before safety, or safety before order?
Order comes with safety. In all honesty, let's be factual here. If the government says, let's come back to work because we know what we've lost from this market, then be rest assured that you can make certain demands if you are really wanting to come back to work. Safety should be part of the demand. The willingness.
That the government should put in
yes,
place.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. We really want to see this issue resolved as fast as possible. Yesterday, we saw demonstrations in same Anambra State. And, dear Governor, we don't want to see a state that, just like Doc would say, become more ungovernable. We want to see people resume, and the Monday thing, like it should be history.
Can we also see the demonstration on the Monday and people say, we want to come to market, Governor, provide us security to come on market on Monday and then just shut the shop?
Well, don't worry.
Solution movements, actually.
This is and I also want to say, dear Soludo, can you go ask OT, ask the Enugu guy what they did? Because if the said person that is in this particular situation, who happens to be Nnamdi Kanu, he's from Abia State. And Abia State happens to be one of the major states where we've had one of the worst issues. But yet the Monday issue has been resolved in Abia State. So what did they do? How did they get it right? I think those are the questions you should find yourself and not tax the people before shutting down the market and also this threat. Let's see all this go away. Now let's get to social media and see what is happening from there. Love Praise, she's talking from the first issue we had with the meters. He said the dispute has led to a slow pace of installation with reports of significant number of imported meters potentially remaining idle. Yeah, we remember during Good Luck's time, a lot of them were spoiled because people didn't want to take them out for free. This course should make meters easy to obtain and cut down the tariff for energy consumption. That's coming from Austin. Emmanuel Amolo said, the move signals Nigeria's commitment to attracting serious global investors and strengthening energy security in competitive global energy markets. Thank you, Ima. Still talking about the energy issues. Now, this is coming from Ike Chuku. Until we actually live there and see or pass through things that go on over there on Mondays, if you violate, then we will understand that even the security won't be there to rescue you. Yeah, we understand. Thank you very much. This is also coming from Emmanuel on the sit-at-home issue. The continued sit-at-home order in Onitsha reflects a clash between political activism and economic stability, with Soludo prioritizing market community to protect livelihood and the state economy. But you have to be alive to be part of the economy. Now, the traders' insistence on observing Monday sit at home is illogical, yes, and other markets operate normally. Security is in place, and the action only harm their own businesses. This is also coming from Ima. We'll try and reach out to people in Onitsha and get to see what the temperature there is like subsequently, and we will report back to you. But we want to see this resolved as at yesterday. Thank you very much to everyone that had made this possible. Thank you very much for taking us to the school, dear Doc. Thank you. For those that did pass their GNS, if you didn't pass, I think you should watch today's episode again. Toby, thank you very much. Now, to the beautiful ladies in MCR that make sure you get to hear us and see us. That's Gladys and Praise. Thank you. We have Godson there too. Thank you. Then the guys behind the cameras, Austin, Joseph and Gabriel, making sure you get to read what we're saying. And our editors, thank you very much. Remember, this is SOUQ News Television. Let us be your go-to guide when it comes to business, economy, and development. My name is John Rogers Jokes. We'll do this again tomorrow. Be nice.
Yes, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow as well. Thank you for joining the show today. Stay tuned.
It was a pleasure here. Nigeria belongs to all of us. We have responsibility to rescue it, and this does not belong to any certain elite. The entire society must work hard to make Nigeria work for us and our children's children. See you tomorrow.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, you know, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
With the theme, leveraging customs enforcement to enhance revenue generation with transparency and accountability, an ICPC perspective. The lecture, held at the Federal Operations Unit, Zone A, Ikeja, brought together officers of the Nigeria Customs Service and top officials from the ICPC. The Public Relations Officer, A.O. Hussaini, opened the event by introducing dignitaries, followed by welcome remarks from Comptroller M.S. Shuaibu, head of the Federal Operations Unit, Zone A. Assistant Comptroller F.A. Owoni, convener of the session and Zonal Head of Operations for Zone A and C, underscored the significance of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU, which represents the ICPC within the Customs Service. There was also a brief remark by Mary Omonoya, a Principal Superintendent at ICPC, representing the Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Chukura Alexandra.
My honor to welcome you all to this important engagement on leveraging customs enforcement to enhance revenue generation with transparency and accountability. Today's gathering reflects our shared commitment to building a more robust, responsive, and integrity-driven Nigerian customs service.
She charged the NCS to ensure that enforcement activities within the Nigeria Customs Service must be grounded in the principles of accountability and ethical conduct. In her lecture, Dr. Hadiza Rimi, Principal Superintendent PE&E, ICPC Lagos, stressed that public perception, transparency, and quick open accountability remain major obstacles to effective customs operations and public trust.
So we have what we call ACTU, just like you have here, and those people hosting the event today. So those are, the ACTU is responsible in checkmating potholes, or loopholes rather, in MDAs, in ensuring that there's compliance and in ethics in institutions.
Dr. Rimi also drew comparisons between Nigeria and Ghana in Customs Governance Index. Comptroller M.S. Shuaibu shed more light.
Average custom officer is, I think, among those that is doing the selfless service. That's why you see when you see people pushing that they should do this to customs, they are not out of context. We generate revenue. So if you are directing revenue, you are seeing a pass. Okay, like we said, those you think will cut corners. When after cutting their corners, what we try to do, we sanction them. Like I said, I mentioned somebody as that level dismissed, and no organization in Nigeria that has done that. No organization. I remember when I was in that operation SOUQ, that is what I do. 9 officers were dismissed at one time.
He further gave more clarifications to the issues highlighted. When SOUQ News TV asked how the service supports small business exporters, Comptroller MS Shuaibu pointed to recent reforms, including port redesigns for export focus, revitalized rail systems to ease cargo movement, and reduce checkpoints. He urged Nigerian exporters to prioritize global quality standards. He also highlighted perception management strategies by the Customs Service. In his closing remarks, Assistant Comptroller F.A. Owuniyi thanked participants and urged the ICPC to extend similar trainings to officers on the field, not just administrative staff. I am Moyosore Adebi for SOUQ News TV.
Hello Lagos, make we yarn.
Hello, boy, if this POS matter, don't pass your code. This go swipe, alert no enter. Before you know it, jump.
Wait, wetin really happen?
They use fake alert, the warriors.
Okay, so wanna listen, If you dey do POS business, no expose your alert.
Hello, Ogbuefi. They don't walk Daba road where they warriors for our local government for years.
This one sweet me, I no lie you. Because you know what, development where they work, it deserve loudspeaker. Now why we dey here be that? For here, we know the abuse, we dey bring solution. My name, it is Ikechukwu Uyemike, aka Ogbuefi Ishegwari.
Make we yarn every weekday from 10 a.m. go to 12 o'clock on Top the Eye 95.9 FM.
The story of Ile-Ife. Ile-Ife, often described as the spiritual heart of the Yoruba people, is not just a city, it is the cradle of identity, civilization, and belief for millions across West Africa. Located in present-day Osun State, Ile-Ife is revered in Yoruba tradition as the place where life began and where the gods descended to create the earth. Archaeological findings, however, suggest the city's origins date back to between the 8th and 11th centuries CE, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited urban centers in sub-Saharan Africa. According to Yoruba mythology, Oduduwa is regarded as the progenitor of the Yoruba race and the first ruler of Ile-Ife. All traditions say he founded the kingdom, from which many Yoruba monarchs trace their descent. His legacy symbolizes unity and divine kingship among the Yoruba. Centuries later, under the reign of Obalufon II, believed to have ruled in the 14th century, Ile-Ife experienced a golden era marked by exceptional artistic and technological achievements. This period produced the world-famous Ife bronze and terracotta heads, celebrated for their realism and craftsmanship. Scholars have described these artifacts as evidence of an advanced mythological culture that rivaled any in medieval Europe or Asia. Recent archaeological discoveries at Igbo Olokun near Ile-Ife revealed ancient glass bead production sites, one of the earliest in sub-Saharan Africa. The finds, led by researchers such as Professor Adisa Ogunfolakon and Dr. Babalola Abidemi, confirm that the people of Ife were skilled innovators in trade and material science. Beyond its material legacy, Ile-Ife remains a sacred and living symbol of Yoruba spirituality. Its monarch, the Ooni of Ife, is still regarded as a custodian of tradition and a spiritual bridge between the people and their ancestral heritage. According to Bayo Laoye, a veteran journalist with SOUQ News Television, the story of Ile-Ife is not merely about the past, but about continuity. Ife tells us how knowledge, art, and belief shaped the destiny of a people. It is a reminder that civilization in Africa didn't begin with contact from outside. It grew from within. Today, Ile-Ife continues to attract scholars, tourists, and spiritual pilgrims from around the world, all drawn by the enduring mystery of the source. I'm Moyosore Adebi for SOUQ News TV.
My name is Shino Gbadegeshin. I'm the CEO Gozi Micro Insurance. Continue to watch SOUQ News.
Adenike Adeyemi, Executive Director of Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hey everyone, Majuli Obaje here representing Gigi. Keep watching SOUQ News, okay? Stay updated with SOUQ News.
My name is Aton Keme. I am the head of MSME banking. Please keep watching SOUQ News and stay glued to SOUQ News.
I recommend that more and more people should watch SOUQ News because they deal with business news.
Hi, my name is Amaka Wokolo. I am the director of the Faith Institute at Faith Foundation. Keep watching SOUQ News.
To you and welcome to Across Borders, your development-focused program, spotlighting real migration stories, lived experiences, and policy discussions across Africa and beyond. But today, we are shifting away from the regular migration story to other issues that also matter across our borders, especially as they affect our people and businesses navigating regional trade. Our focus today is on trade and travel. Policy reforms to support small entrepreneurs across borders. For many small business owners, crossing borders for trade should mean growth and opportunity. Yet, policies, logistics, and mobility challenges often stand in their way. Joining us to unpack the realities and the reforms needed is Dr. Femi Egbeshola, President of the Association of Small Business Owners of Nigeria, ASPON, a leading advocate for small-scale enterprises and cross-border economic inclusion. Stay tuned. The conversation on how trade and travel can truly work across borders begins after this break. Stay with us. If you are just joining us, welcome to Across Borders. Today we are looking at trade and travel policies that are shaping small entrepreneurship across Africa. Like I mentioned before we went on that break, our guest is Dr. Femi Egbeshola, the president of ASPON. Dr. Femi, it's a pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I would say this on camera. I actually thought you were going to be joining us virtually.
Well, it's trying to be live sometimes.
And we appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, without wasting time, let's get into it. I want to ask this, we need your perspective on this to start. How significant is regional or cross-border trade to the growth of small businesses in Nigeria and across Africa?
It's very significant. In Nigeria, we have been import dependent for long years. And this time around, the narrative is changing. We are beginning to embrace exports. And if you look at the recent statistics rolled out by NAPC, that is Nigerian Economic Export Promotion Council, rather, you'll see that our export doubled this year. And it shows that we are already embracing exports. And exports in Nigeria here is more in the region, it's more in the continent, it's more in ECOWAS countries, and it is beginning to give us a lot of revenues. You see that at the moment too, many MSMEs are now embracing exports because our local market is becoming saturated and very competitive. Again, too, because of our falling naira, so to speak, our product is now cheaper in the global markets and even in the continent, which makes us more attractive to buyers in the region and even in Africa. A recent data shows that monthly, from the informal sector alone, we have about $2 million being generated. But the question is, how many of these informal trade are being captured by statistics? The government needs to begin to look at how to build structures so that we can bring about the informal traders across the borders to the data board, so that they can also have policies that will support them. It is when government is able to capture their data that they can now roll out specific policies that can support what they do and also help them to migrate from being informal to formal. So by and large, exports has been very, very beneficial, not just to government alone in terms of revenue, but also to the players in that sector.
Great.
You also look at the communities that are around the borders. They are doing very well based on exports. So this export is not for them as a livelihood alone, but it is also keeping their communities active and vibrant.
That's interesting. So you actually talked about the impact and how well the SMEs are actually involved, what they are doing, especially with the GDP. So I'm just going to ask you, SMEs, you know, they occupy 96% of Nigerian business, contribute 46% to GDP, yet less than 8% of export. I don't know if you get that. So what explains this level of export participation? You have mentioned, yes, they contribute this, of course, but the export level, if you look at it, it's kind of low. So
it's because the data is not rich enough. The data we have in the papers today is more of the formal sector, those in the formal sector doing exports. The informal sector is not being captured, and a lot are being done in the informal sector. So we need to begin to encourage governments to look at how to bring about structures to be able to capture those in the informal sector. You'll be surprised the kind of volume of trade that is going on in the informal sector. And you want to ask us why are those in the informal sector not trying to embrace formality in their business? Because sometimes their capacities are not built to be able to do that. Sometimes too, the policies, the documentation, and the approvals that is needed to formalize becomes an Aquarian tax for them to embrace. So we begin to look at how can we break down some of these structures to be able to meet them at the point of their need. Some of us are of the advocates that it's time for government to begin to segment the approval processes such that it will not be one size fits all. What is available for large businesses will be those that the small businesses or even micro businesses will have to also contend with. That will not work most times, and that will not bring about migration of this informal to the formal sector. I also believe too that it's also time for all of us, be it corporate organizations, be it a business membership organization and all of that, to improve in creating awareness about what is happening in our borders, creating awareness about opportunities that are there for border traders if they formalize, and also creating awareness about the incentive that government has for these players around the borders.
Thank you very much. So you agree with me that there are limitations, but despite these limitations, you still see, you know, these entrepreneurs being motivated. What is the motivation? You are in that sector. In fact, as the president of ASBON, you get to see a whole lot, you get to hear a whole lot. What do you think motivates the entrepreneur?
I think the first thing that motivates them is the reason for being in business, which is profit. When you do cross-border trade, you get more money than when you trade locally because competition is severe. You can actually not really go up beyond board to fix your price. And when you deal with exports, you are able to sell your products more. I mentioned the other time that our currency now is devalued, and that makes our products more attractive, so you get more markets. At the same time, too, you are able to sell at a better price, which also means more profits. Also, too, you look at those particularly around the borders, they have little or nothing that they do as businesses beyond export. They have seen it as one veritable tool for them to keep their body and soul together, and they have become veteran in it over the time. So that's another reason why you see many into exports. Again, too, you see that a lot of sensitization is now going on. Government is doing a lot now to preach to us the need for us to begin to export. For us also, too, we have come to a time where we know that we just must do business the other way. And one of the other way we can do business is to look at other markets around beyond Nigeria. Technology, too, has been allowed about a lot of transformation. Technology now made it possible for us to now sell our product across borders globally with just an Instagram or Facebook or any other social media and for e-commerce platforms. This has also enabled us. Then government has provided a number of incentives to support exports. These incentives are massive and it's enough to stimulate export, and that's why we are seeing the kind of statistics we are seeing now. I'm sure if we all support the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics and the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, they'll be able to roll out for us new data that will show times 100 or more of what you have in the data bank at the moment when it comes to exports.
When it comes to export, thank you very much. So talking about exports, the informal export, right, from Nigeria borders, they exceed what's it called, $31 million US, according to report, especially between early 2024. But how can policy capture and support this segment?
Yes, the first thing is that for policies to be able to drive attention to their need, we should capture all in that net. At the moment, that has not been done. I did say that many of those playing in the informal sector are still doing a lot that are not being captured. So when the data is only capturing what the medium and large businesses are doing, ordinarily you will see that policy will be tending to that direction. For us to get policy to support those in the informal sector, government must now play in a way that they should also be captured. Another thing is that they also need to be aware of many ways that they can do business in today's world. One of it is after promises to give them leverage for them to trade across the continent. But if you look at it, how many of them are aware of after? A recent survey shows that 67% of the respondents in 5 different states says that they're not even aware of after at all. That is Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And those who are aware, they do not even know the step-to-step process of taking advantage of this after. These are challenges that needs to be tackled with. I'm also happy that government is also coming up with some innovation that also support export now. One of it is the national window that allows everybody now to do a one-stop shop documentation, permit and licenses under one portal. I think that's another national single window. That's another wonderful platform, and I'm sure it is also going to bring about a lot of exporters being captured by data by the time it is rolled out in the first quarter of next year.
Great, thank you very much. So you talked about technology. I just want to bring in social media in a bit. Despite social media, we still see some people lacking, the proper information. You are in that sector and you see how it's been done. Would you say that social media has really helped? Do people get enough information to help them carry on with their businesses?
When it comes to sales and trade, social media has been a big enabler. A lot of SMEs now use social media to sell their products. We also have a number of e-commerce platforms that are used to sell our products. But when it comes to information, awareness, publicity, and sensitization, it's not much on the social media platforms. And that is the area where we need to begin to concentrate our effort on. That while the few people that knows the advantage are taking advantage of it, we need to begin to look at how can we now bring on board those who are not aware of the many opportunities that are available. And I think that has to do with every one of us also, starting from government. Government will be intentional about creating awareness. This has to be done across social media handles in a language they understand, in the format they understand. It's not too bad an idea if they also print flyers and all of that, stating specifically the step-by-step process, checklist, requirements for documentation and all of that, that even the informal players will need to become an exporter that can be captured by data. These are very important. It's also good for us to begin to look at how to get testimonies of those who have been able to use social media to leverage on their business. This will help a lot to also encourage those who are not using it to see the advantage of it. But these are not always there on the social media space. And I think it's something we need to begin to
It's very important. Yes. It's very important. Okay, so because we are talking across borders, of course, I want to speak to originality. Somehow, you hear about some particular countries when they talk about their products not being original or quality, and they tend to ship them to some certain countries. And you find some Nigerian goods as well, where they tend to give them a particular tag Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't want to speak. You get the point. So what do we need to do to ensure that when Nigerian products are seen anywhere in the world, that credibility is there, that acceptance is there? Or are we there yet?
We're not there. We have improved a lot, if I must be honest, but we are not yet where we ought to be, really. When it comes to that, it has to do with standardization, and that's where the Standard Organization of Nigeria comes in. It should be a must for us to ensure that whatever is leaving our shores is of standard, of quality, and whatever is also coming in is of the same. And the best way to do this is to begin to build the capacity of exporters, not just exporters, even every manufacturer, to embrace quality, to embrace standard. And one way to also do that is to create workshops, webinars, seminars to educate them again and again, have collaboration with business membership organizations like us to continue to train these people, let them know what they need to do when it comes to labeling, let them know what to do when it comes to packaging, let them know what to do when it comes to the SOP, the standard operating procedure of what they are doing. These are very important, and ensuring that it meets with at least the minimum standard. You see, at the moment, Nigeria used to be a stood-up ground, but as that narrative has begun to change for now, as our standard has been elevated to some point, but I think we still need to do more.
All right, thank you very much. I think I agree with you. There is a need for us to do more because the best we can wish for ourselves is to get better every day. So I want to ask, Nigeria's former non-oil export, reaches $5.4 billion US in 2024. Now, how can small businesses benefit more from this performance?
Yeah, what we need to do